Hey, welcome back to Métropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It is currently the Game Awards is going on. So that's a good time to stream. Nobody's watching that one, I don't think. I watched a bit of it. It's goofy. You remember in the Oscars where they just stopped doing the awards to like show you new movies coming out? No, I don't remember when they did that. I don't watch the Oscars though. How's everyone doing? Oh, I usually pause these. Now I'm looking at a mirror of myself, and that is something else. Hopefully you're all doing well. Stab Tabby, Metro Stream. Welcome. How you doing? Sean as well. Easy Mark. How you doing? Lazy. Hello, good folks. Hope we're doing well. I'm doing pretty good. It's the day after St. Nicholas Day. It is a day that is actually celebrated, which is quite fun. We build a basket of nice stuff and we open it. We did it at my sister's yesterday. It was quite cute. Hey Brennan, it's good. How you doing? Quite literally, the only thing I'd end up caring about is Silksong news. Yeah, like there usually is like some big announcements to be like, play it now. I wonder if they're gonna say Silksong stuff. Hades 2 also, isn't that meant to be this year technically? There's not a lot of year left, but I thought they said it would be out this year to some extent. So I think there's gonna be some news that's probably interesting. We'll figure it out. Your fundamentals video is phenomenal. Keep up the good work and make more. Thank you, Sean. Glad you appreciate it. I liked how it turned out for sure. We have another replay coming up from Chillside. I think I re-reviewed the game and it's not played as cleanly, but there's more maybe to talk about. But I worry that's gonna be repetition of the same sort of stuff, which is like put your multi-axis where it matters, which like is a big point in playing that deck correctly. It's getting your multi-axis where it matters, obviously. But that was, yeah, I'm excited to do more stuff. Again, if you have any replays, if you're watching this, I know it sounds daunting. Hopefully you can see that it's nice. We're relatively respectful, let's say. If you send in a replay, we can review it. It's a cool thing to do, I reckon. It's a really cool thing to do to get that thorough feedback about your play. I think it's cool. Hey, Janktabist, happy Thursday. How you doing, man? I've been running unboxing Edge of the Earth. What's with one head rogues? Seriously, one head is kind of the best you can ask for. I think any investigator that has a one stat is a good investigator. And obviously that's because you can only allocate so many points. What's the point of having a 2 stat? It's worse than a 1 stat. You're going to fail the damn test anyways. Why not get that stat somewhere that matters? So 1 stat, so good. But specifically rogues haven't had high, there's only like 2 or 3, and I think actually they've been a bit more consistent on it. But like rogues are generally really bad at willpower. I think the highest willpower rogue is Safina. And then recently we've had a couple like 3 stat 3 will rogues. But it's totally fine. You can build around it. I think the one that I've always landed on is, you take that, what is it called? It's the one with quotes where the guy's like smoking a cigarette on a chair while someone gets absolutely ruined by a monster. Do you know the one I'm talking about? But there is a card that basically says play when you draw an encounter card, give it to someone else, gain a credit. And that one's really good if you play it 1 stat. You handle this. Thank you, Alex. You handle this. That was like a staple whenever I played a 1 willpower rogue. Just because, yeah, you're right. The treachery deck can mess you up. Rotting remains or whatever is a problem. But generally 1 stats are kind of the best. Like legitimately 1 stats are kind of the best. Going to, hold on, Brennan. Sorry, I just read going to. Yeah, anyways, it's good. I don't mind it at all. In fact, like, I think that's the most infuriating thing. How will this work? Is whenever you get an investigator and then they have a 2 in a stat line, like, what's the point? It's still a useless stat. Like, why does Skids have a 2 here? Like, I would rather Skid have a 1 here and then have a 4 or a 5 somewhere else. Because generally, you know, investigators have a budget of 12 that's distributed across the stats. And like 2 is just as bad as 0. Literally, I would have a 0 if they could do it, but they won't because they haven't ever, have they? I don't think they have. Wrong window? No, not at all. Jenkins, get over to YouTube. It's where the cool kids are. Actually, no, that's probably worth checking. I can say that it seems like Restream is now working on both sides. It broke for Twitch for the last couple of days. It seems like it's back. I didn't do anything too much. I just looked into it to see if I could figure out why it's broken. I did a test like message and it worked. So I'm glad that's working at least. I think currently on the channel, the viewership is mostly YouTube centric, but like if you're on Twitch, you're on Twitch. It's totally cool. It is not a problem whatsoever. Whatever works more for you. Awesome. Might be a quiet stream today. Again, Game Awards. Hopefully you're doing well. Maybe you watch that and then you're watching the VOD. We have a deck list of the week. This is Tuno's Spike Incline deck. We played it once on stream already last week. I think this deck is better than it looks. I think also just to show that the other, the Neurospike deck that was played at Worlds was Silent Arbiters, which is the same sort of combo, but in some ways more secure, in some ways less secure. I think it's quite nice. Calvin technically has 0 stats. Oh, that is true. That is technically true. You're right. I do like Calvin though. I think Calvin's pretty good. I'm going to attorney this Saturday, hoping no one else has seen your fundamentals video, so I stand a chance. Hopefully Sokka didn't catch. Brenna, what you playing? We're gonna be talking about Sokka a bit. I don't know if you're playing against Sokka. Sokka put up a really good also deck dive video. We're gonna be addressing it on the stream specifically, but Sokka put up a really cool video talking about how to play Glacier, because the deck that he played at Worlds was significantly a strange deck, and for a lot of players, it's boring and plotting. But this is something that I've said before, because we had Glacier show up during the Can Nats footage, and during the Can Nats, we had a player who came in first in Swiss, and he was playing as M.I.C Glacier. And I got a lot of feedback, be like, M.I.C Glacier is the most boring thing ever. And like, I hear you. I know why you think that. I've thought that before. But like the biggest thing that's so interesting to me with Glacier is that the things that are important are the things that are really, really subtle. And it's maybe a failure in terms of the casting of making that exciting or making it interesting, because the big decisions you make when you play like, you know, Sokka's Worlds list, or when you play as M.I.C Glacier, is the placement of cards that are going to matter in 4 to 6 turns, which like, it's really important that you do it right. It's really easy to set up your defenses wrong, but like, it's a totally different decision space than when you play like modern Netrunner, where you're jamming out, where it's just like, oh, I want to push Rashida remote server. I'm gonna put whatever ice I have in my hand because I need to get this Rashida off on turn 1 or turn 2. So we're gonna get back to this to some extent, but yeah, well, we'll be linking this in the video. It's a really good thing because Sokka basically spends a whole time doing a replay review talking about ice placement. And it's the sort of thing that also, I think, like kind of goes over a lot of players' heads, because it's a hard thing to realize why you're failing when your failure is due to like ice placement. Because it's hard to tell why your ice placement matters in Netrunner. And it's like such an important thing, where I've done replays where someone's like, okay, click 1, I'm going to put an Ichi 1.0 on HQ. And it's like, well, that's the worst place to put that on turn 1. And then the criminal runs HQ turn 1, right? Like it's super, super important. So we'll get back to that for sure. But yeah, it's harder also when you do it, you know, on a video, because we don't know what ice is going down there. We'll see. Oh, come back. Cold Lava, what's going? How's it going? What did I do, huh? Who would rather watch the VOD for Game Awards? So much unneeded filler. Would rather just watch the trailers on my own time. Clayton, I kind of feel you with that. I think it's a strange show. Shout out to Jeff Keighley. It's great that they get all these people in the same room, like talking about video games and being hyped, but it's a strange award program. Because it's like, it's a mixture of award show and then just like what people wanted E3 to be for a while now, which is just like, here's a bunch of new trailers. But yeah, I genuinely, unless you're like really hyped about watching the trailers live, yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel the same way. I'm playing Sable Edge and Techie Institute. No one has ever played. Isowak, maybe? Yeah, that's fun. Sable's a lot of fun, Brennan. I'm not too sure about the Isowak thing, but I think you're gonna have fun. Hey, friendo. Jai, how's it going? Good morning. How's Friday? Hey, Tron, or even 10 to 15 turns, which is some wild planning. Yeah, exactly. Like it's the sort of payoff that happens way later. And for a lot of folks, it's like not exciting because it's a really slow game. Like, and I think that's a big thing to be said about Build the Last is like your turns can be absolutely like glacier pace, like advance, credit. Next turn, I'm drew a card. I'm fine with this. Advance, install ice, credit. And then like you're trying to score out on turn 10 for the first time. It's like, it's turn 10. I'm going to try and score out, which like if you compare that to any other, you know, Netrunner deck, it's absolutely night and day. Hey, Vroom Venari, how's it going? Casting for Glacier needs to be pretty abstract to get what's exciting about it. You're talking about general moves and trends rather than specific installs and runs. Yes, exactly. And I think we had 2 games up. One of them, Hanny was like going for single axes and like trying to win off of Conduit, which is just a nightmare into that matchup. So it was like super one-sided, unfortunately. And then the second one in the near the finals, I think it was the quarterfinals or the semifinals, Kyle was playing into it. And like Kyle didn't go for a lot of central axes, and like making smart central axes into Glacier is actually really fun. Like run HQ. Run HQ, don't run RD. Run HQ, especially for the first couple turns where they're setting up and they don't attitude adjustment their stuff away. It can be exciting. Vomiting on the table and pray what could go wrong. Hey, Aaron, what's wrong with me? I can't win games anymore? Oh, you're washed. No, Aaron, I'm sorry. It's mostly Canadian players have become washed recently. It's okay. It gets easier with time. What are you playing? That might be the issue. Ice placement is super underappreciated skill. I'm so glad Sokka emphasizes so heavily. It's like the most important thing with that deck. Like, of course it is. You're not like making plays. You're just setting up and waiting for the runner to unfortunately fall apart, which happens. Yo, Phil, how's it going? How you doing, man? Bing Bonk also. Yo, how you doing? I play as M.I.C Glacier and it's fun to play, but I imagine it's tough to watch without all the info on what ice is placed. Yeah, you can make guesses. It's fun when they res a Hydra and you're like, oh my god, that's a Hydra. But like, Hydra's messed up, isn't it? No, the other one no one has played from Downfall. Oh, the Hyobu Institute. Oh yeah, it has Institute in the name. I'd look it up, but then I missed the stream. No, it's Hyobu Institute. Yeah, you're definitely fighting uphill with that choice. It is not a good identity. There's not that many. Let us know how it goes, right? Announce it now. I need to plan my bake off. Wait, I'm announcing this year's bake off theme tomorrow. Do you think Pat will win this year? Did Pat ever submit? Yeah, Pat will win this year. What's the bake off theme? It's the Christmas bake off, right? I'm actually kind of excited. They've been a real treat to watch the results. Living in Canada inherently drains a player of their Netrunner skill. I spent 2 hours today shoveling a car out of the snow. Canada's cool and all, but then the snow is literally a foot, and then you have to move the car because they're going to plow the street. And then they come on with the big siren, the wow, wow. It's like, move your car or it's going to get buried. And then you spend 2 hours. I broke the shovel, no joke, snapped the end of the shovel off. The car is stuck. It's like a Chevy Clio from 2012. So it's already struggling. It's a day. You got to plan your whole day around it. It's awful. Yeah. Pat H. I really like Hyobu. Pete, why do you like Hyobu? Let us know. What are we missing? Hey, David, I'm very excited you were here. Something to watch while I suffer through a new medical device. I'm not sure what that means. Hopefully you're doing okay, though, eh? Rotom's doing a bake-off. Did Rotom technically bake anything last time? I forgot the story, but someone submitted something that required no baking. And yet, so cool. I think Sanjay, I like Sanjay generally when he does that stuff. He's very creative. I'm splashing a ton of NBN in the new set. Oh, cool. Neat. Don't want to be on the wrong side of the plowers? No, it's bad. I'm definitely not shoveling anything in my condition. No, I believe it. But then, like, what do you do? Does someone do your shoveling for you? Like, we got to shovel all the stairs. Mind you, Montreal apartments. Okay, we'll play Netrunner, don't worry. Montreal apartments. L'appartement de Montréal. Just so you know, this is kind of a thing, but Montreal apartments are like very specifically different compared to the rest of the world. Where, okay, maybe not the rest of the world, but like all the apartments have stairs like this on the outside. So like you have this actually looks very much like the apartment I live in. But like there's stairs, generally half spiral staircases, and then like a balcony, and then there's 4 doors on the balcony. It's just how Montreal apartments look across all the older neighborhoods. Like this is, whole streets look like this. You gotta shovel this. It stinks. It's not like shoveling a driveway, because again, none of these cars have garages. Montreal is not, it's like, that's one of the beauties of Montreal. You don't need a car as much as we have a car. We don't use it a lot, but that makes it even more annoying. Anyways, spoiler, he definitely is, heck yeah. I still maintain that someday Hyobu complete image deck will work someday. I don't think it ever will. And the problem was like complete image when it came out, I think it's like it's an interesting card. It's a reasonable card. But the problem is like complete image was only really good when we had that other ID that said whenever you do damage, you pick the first card you do with damage. Knowing every single card with hand is still very, like the chance of you flatlining someone with 2 cards in hand. Okay, 50%, that's not that bad. 3 cards in hand, it's actually really low. It's 15%, right? 16%. It was great to see stairs. I had no idea. I don't know if you're sarcastic. Andreas, how's it going? No, Montreal stairs are like totally wild. There's like everything's outside. So like you have to deal with a lot of infrastructure that's completely in the elements. Unrelated news, Santa and Man of the Moon are shipping over some extra packs mats. They helped me get along with my Seattle Async CO prizes. Massive shout out. Oh, super cool. Santa won the event at PAX, I'm pretty sure, right? Lose a Netrunner all freaking day. Sorry, Aaron. Okay, there is some discussion about if Patty Cakes is instantly disqualified. There's a chance. Oh, that's Pat. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Okay. The key with Hyobu is the clickability is flavor text. I think the flavor... Okay, so the clickability on Hyobu is like, it's better than flavor text. Because if you're clicking for a credit, you might as well do the thing that adds another 2 minutes to the game, right? Like, you might as well do that if you're clicking for a credit. But the question is like, how many cards? This is, okay, so Hyobu, if you haven't seen it, this was a spoiler card, mind you. This is the first NSG spoiler card. We had a couple of these. We had Hyobu, we had Saisentan. We might have had another one. It's weird that you don't remember this. You think you remember it. But basically whenever a card was revealed, and back in the day when Hyobu existed, there was actually a lot of good cards that revealed incidentally. And for what it's worth, IDs like this that just fire sometimes when you're doing your thing anyways, like it's kind of, you know, it's kind of ashes. It's like GameNet is kind of ashes. It's just like, oh, you're going to get credits when your thing does a thing. And to me, uninteresting. I'd rather have a deck that plays differently, that forces you to do something different. Maybe these decks play with a different subset of cards, but like having cards in your deck that reveal stuff and then you get more money on them, I don't know. It's only fun if the reveal cards are fun. So the question is, what are the reveal cards? I'm not sure. Cronus, thank you, Aaron. Yeah, Cronus was fun with that. They invited me to the CO to fill out numbers, and somehow I found myself in the final. Yeah, well done. Had some friends visiting from Prince Edward Island. They escaped the winter over here. I imagine it's pretty bad out there. Wait, Ike is still legal? No. Why? Oh, Standrad. Okay, that's why. I glanced back at the Game Awards and popped off when I super not complete image. Yeah, okay, so this is not everything. These are some cards that say the word reveal. Oh, but this is double positives, false positives, sorry, because some cards reveal themselves. This is not exactly it. Threat 3 in 2019, nice to see. Exactly, that was one of the original threat cards. It's actually really, really cool. Not being sarcastic, thank you, Andreas. Senta got second at Janksgiving. I think he won the main event too, though. Yeah, won the standard event. It got second Janksgiving. Beeblum won Janksgiving. Beeblum's Janksgiving deck was really good. It was just like a really good deck. I've been cooking a Hyobu deck with Public Health Portal and Federal Fundraising. Public Health Portal I've never seen play. It is, again, unfortunately, a lot of the Jinteki cards and Ashes are just kind of bad and like unsalvageably bad. Like just the numbers aren't wrong on it are wrong. Like gaining 2 credits, obviously for an ability is really, really powerful. But the fact that you reses for 3, technically it has a downside and it trashes for 2. Like if this card was reprinted today, those numbers would at a minimum flip, right? It would be 2 to res, 3 to trash. There are very few, actually, like try and think of cards right now that see play in Netrunner that the corporation spends more money to res than the runner trashes. Can you think of any? I can think of one. And Sansan City Grid's not that popular. It's actually a really interesting thing. It's like these sort of curse ratios, you just don't see them in Netrunner anymore. And classically, there were cards like that that would sometimes see play. It's generally not a good starting point, but that is not a good start. Rip Emgram Flush. Yeah, I know. Loop slot machine as well, right? Remember your flaming effects when you spoiled this card? I don't even remember that, Sean. Imagine seeing the new set from the new Oregon, the first thing you see Saisentan. It was very close to what it used to be. I'll send you my list after I go 0-8 this weekend. Yeah, Brennan, definitely do it. Definitely do it. We'll check it out for sure. There's probably some new cards. But like a lot of these cards aren't, you know, bangers. Like Open Forum isn't a banger of a card. Moonpool's kind of cool. Lady Liberty? Oh yeah, technically, right? Lady Liberty technically falls there, but like it's kind of like Sansan. It's only one off. I guess, okay, that's fine. But that's a powerful effect. Like this effect wins you the game. This effect doesn't win you the game. Bass? Is it? No, Bass is 3-4. Thomas, how's it going? Bass is what you'd expect it to be. Higher trash cost than res cost. And then again, you also don't res Bass. Like if Bass gets trashed, it's because the runner pays for you did nothing. Which maybe happens with Public Earth Portal, right? Gene Splicer, that's not a real card. That can't hurt you. Oh, Mavirus. Ah, there was one there the whole time. Mavirus. Truly Mavirus. Yeah, but you understand why that's a thing. But it's like legitimately a weird thing that we used to see back in the day in Netrunner. Oh, now we just don't see it. And I don't know whether it's for the better or for where it's worst. Okay, cards that reveal themselves, subliminal messaging, but then like why are they not running? And I do think was Sokka playing what's it called list? A Hyobu list at some point. Tucana, yeah, Tucana is a good example, Nick, and that's like shows you that Tucana is a powerful card. But yeah, that's a really good one. Calibration testing, yes, that's another cool one too. Very Tucana-like. But it's really small. And those cards are also upgrades, which is very specific because it means that you can protect them more easily. Assets on their own have to either be iced or live on their own merits. So the fact that all the upgrades we're talking about have worse trash to res cost ratios, but Public Health Portal isn't an upgrade, also doesn't help. Because you can protect upgrades. You just put in the server with everything else. But then again, assets, you generally don't want to ice up your Public Health Portal, do you? It took FFG until basically Lunar Cycle to realize how important the res trash ratio was. Yeah. And then we got some wild stuff like Jeeves being a 2-5 or whatever. This is what wage workers used to be. Assets should rarely have res more than trash. Yeah, it's very, very uncommon. So, hey, Public Health Portal, let's go. Flower Sermon kind of cooks, but also not really. Yeah, I think Flower Sermon is like very close to be a cool card. It was really cool back in the day when we had that political dealings where it like was a fast advance piece. That's kind of neat. But yeah, it's difficult, and altogether just like Jinteki mid-range, Jinteki Glacier is kind of in a difficult spot, which unfortunately is what we're going to be doing today, for better or for worse. But yeah, it's just the Jinteki Ice Suite just needs some support. The Jinteki economy needs some support, but we're very close. I think when the next set comes out, it's very likely that Jinteki mid-range, Jinteki Glacier, all of that will make some sense, because we're only 1 or 2 cards short, and we've been getting really, really good cards. The Tattoo Bola, Adrian Seiss, they just don't have a full shell to fit elegantly within, but we're very close to being very good. Hey, External, been too long. How are you doing? It has been a while. How are you doing? SIU. Yeah, SIU is not very common, but SIU, again, it makes sense. It's kind of like Lady Liberty. Like, this is a win condition. It should not be high to trash. I think Wage Workers should still be 3 to trash. Yeah, I could see it. Hostile Architecture is a 5-4. Yeah, and like Hostile Architecture is also often res in a game-losing way. It's probably a good card in some decks, but this is also very close to another card that was similar. The other card was a 5-5 though, I think. Hostile Infrastructure was 5-5. Yeah, this card is deadly. What about this? On reveal, add card to sideboard. Click to install a card from sideboard. I'm not sure what you mean, Neto. Also, Lucille, how you doing? Okay, so deck list of the week. It's here. This is a re-education deck. Played this before. The combo is inherently quite unfair. It's hard to beat, but we just jam in remote server. We have frighteningly few agendas. We have a re-education. When we score this, we can dump at least 3 cards from hand. We'll get most runners, because then they have 2 cards in hand while you don't, and then you just kill them with a good old Neurospike. This can be lethal as soon as turn 2, technically. Nah, yeah, you need money. So turn 3 is like probably the fastest it'll ever be on the table. You do install advance. They think it's an NGO front. They don't run it and you win, which is wild. For a better reveal mechanic. I'm not sure if I understand Neto. Reveal, add card to sideboard, click to install card from sideboard. I've been good, super duper busy, but good. Hey, that's good to hear. Busy is generally better than not busy, right? Glen Station? Yeah, Glen Station is like the technically sideboard card in Netrunner. It's also kind of poisonous. It's not good. It's cool and flavorful, but it's not good that you can add a card and remove it from the game. Because like some people scored Glen Station and then just took the 6-point agenda and removed it from the game, which like that's not fun, is it? Slowly recovering from COVID, brain fog, but definitely recovering. Oh, I hope you feel better soon. Sideboard, I think you mean NVRAM. NVRAM, I think you mean set aside area. I don't even remember her name. Oh, that's not good. What's the shaper that I don't like? Isla Biostarheim. Yeah, this used to say NVRAM, which I don't think they ever explained what NVRAM was. I'm not sure that acronym was ever spelled out, but yeah, this is fun. Kind of like a combination between Epiphany and Isla. I think for the corpse side, inherently adding cards to a sideboard, like you have to put some sort of rules generally that are non-agenda cards. And even then, it's like just having more hand size. And you'd rather have more hand size because it dilutes HQ as much as the cards maybe are weak to things like Imp. So I think it's kind of difficult to make it interesting because just having more corp hand size is kind of like the same as having a sideboard, unless the sideboard starts with options, but I'm not sure if I love that. NVRAM was better wording. I'll die on that hill. I do like NVRAM a lot better. It's more flavorful. It's more fun. It's more confusing, sure, but it's fun. It's cool. And then it's easier to work with other cards that deal with NVRAM or whatever. We should rename the set aside zone to NVRAM. Most people, well, not most people, a lot of people will say NVRAM, and it is whatever you say. Okay. They could have done something with NVRAM, but then they have to add NVRAM to the official rules. And that's probably more rules overhead than it's worth, right? I get it. But yeah, I'm calling it NVRAM. I also don't play Isla, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, re-education. We played this deck before. It has really me nice. It's really good at making money early. The one thing I want to shout out, because this is another version of the deck, and Silent Arbiter is a bit like self-deprecating about their list. It did pretty well at World, 7-1. I think they finished well too. So sometimes the runner side, like you need to have both numbers together to really figure out how things are doing. But this version is actually very surprising. The idea is that once you score out a re-education, you can bottom your whole hand, and then the runner has no hand as well, and then the core damage from Jupeside Grid just flatlines them. And nobody's playing core damage prevention. It also is not beatable by cards like Stone Chip Chart Room, as much as the corp might you just need to have more cards in hand. So you do mandatory drawing your own 6, you do draw, score if you set it up. That's actually really, really cool. I never saw this lining up. When Jupstat came out, I never considered this. I'm not a big re-education gamer. This version is faster in some ways because you don't need to have other cards in hand. You just have to have Jupstat and a remote server and the re-education on top of it. It's weaker to things like pinhole threading, but I don't know if people are realizing they're pinhole threading a Jupstat. They might just think, oh, it's a defensive upgrade, so maybe they just pinhole that anyways. But I do think the Ice Suite in this is not as good as the Ice Suite in Tuno's list. The pings are like, okay, wraparound's fine, but then you can get bigger here. Like Toll Booth is pretty good. Magnet is good for a certain meta, right? Botulus Rush is not as common as is. Enigma is okay. I don't think you need it. But the Sentry slot Sarevna to me is really surprising because we don't really care about the subroutines on this. And it turns out Hydra is messed up. I think Hydra inherently is pretty messed up right now. Resing this for 5 credits is wild. And this deck can very easily have 10 credits on turn 1. If you want more, play more non-equivalent. Yo, Blum, how's it going? Oh, Jupstat, I lost to this at PAX. How was PAX, by the way? Congrats on your, I looked at your, what's it called, Janksgiving list. It looked absolutely killer. It looked really, really good. I've always wanted to make Isla work, but it just hadn't, I just don't get over what is special hump. Supernaut, that's exactly the problem. And I've had this argument at lengths. There's a player in my meta who's a big Isla fan. And to me, Isla makes very little to no sense. The idea with Isla, okay, the beauty of Isla back in the day is that you could functionally play a 40 card Shaper, right? You play a 41 card Shaper, and then you can use your NVRAM as a way to get cards out of the matchup. So generally Shapers play a toolbox deck. So you'd be like, oh, it's not an asset spam matchup. If I draw my 6 and I have a Parisha, I can remove the Parisha from the game and never draw it from NVRAM. That's really cool. So that's kind of nice, but then we got like Dow and we actually got functional 40 card runners. I think the big issue though is like Shaper is inherently defined by its ability to go find 1-ups from the deck. So things like programs, which all often are what Shapers are playing a full toolbox of, you don't struggle to find the 1-ups when and if you need them. So it doesn't make sense. So if you ask me, Isla really makes sense if there is a piece of hardware that you're really looking for, because we don't really have hardware tutors, or specifically actual events, because we don't have event tutors. So back in the day when there was like really powerful events like Apocalypse, kind of made a bit more sense there, as much as playing just now Dow and having a relevant ability might make more sense. So it's really difficult because like having consistency and having toolbox answers is exactly what Shaper does anyways. So now it's attached to a very low tempo ability. The click to draw of NVRAM doesn't draw through your deck. So it's cool that it gets to your thing, but then what are you putting on your NVRAM? If you put a Sure Gamble and then you spend 2 clicks to play a Sure Gamble, that sucks. Like it's really hard to make this good for you. I never thought Isla was good. I think Isla was also really good, was playable during like the combo decks back in the day with like Hyperdriver and all the other stuff. I'd argue, yeah, maybe it's better in Dow now, who knows, but my only Isla deck is Deep Dive for that reason. But the thing is, like, at the end of the day, I'm not sure whether playing Isla to get Deep Dive, which is untutorable, would even be better than, say, like, playing Padma and then getting a couple charges to draw more with Nuka or Thrice Hotel, or let alone play 40 lat. Like, functionally not having an ID ability stinks. And it's worth knowing back in the day, we played Andromeda, and Andromeda was one of the best runners ever. And all Andromeda said was 1 link, you start with 9 cards in hand, and you mulliganed 9 cards as well. But that means the hardest part of the game, the early game, you never had a bad early game, and then you could play a blank text ID for the rest of the game. And unfortunately, Isla doesn't do that. Having the click to draw off your ability, if there was cards that interacted with NVRAM, yeah, then you could do something. But of course there aren't, and there won't be probably. Let me catch up on chat. Jupstad equals deep city in Swedish. Maybe you knew. No, I didn't. That's really cool. Thank you. I wish Glen Station was an asset like a sealed vault for agendas. You know how poisonous that would be? Oh, man. Do not like when you can remove agendas from the game. Thank you, Janksgiving was loads of fun. More people should run that for me. It seems cool. Santa won the main event with the Barf Thule, which is pretty cool too. I want to play more Barf Thule. We saw the version that was posted around Worlds, and I think that list has like a higher ceiling, and I wonder if Santa changed it. I think it's a really, really cool deck. I want to see what Santa played for there. I've been having a ton of fun with Tag and Bag Xylist. Oh yeah, there's a couple posted of those. A lot of folks brought Tag Me to PAX, which I found to be pretty surprising. Last year, I re-educated 419 through a class act with Rashida pop, Jane and highlight for sure. There's some like really wild highlights where sometimes in this deck, you have to fire re-education and bottom your whole damn hand and just hope that you draw into a Neurospike. Or like, I know sometimes the right play is like click 1, predict a Planogram to draw 3, click 2, advance, click 3, Neurospike. Like you have weird lines to beat runners that have like extra cards in hand. It's like totally doable. Like it's actually quite possible if somebody plays Class Act and ends up with 9 cards in hand that you can mandatory draw, you're on 6. You have to like predict a Planogram, you're on 9. Then you have to like shuffle your whole hand, or actually only up to 7 cards, right? And then you can still kill. So like there's a whole bunch of creative ways to make sure they have enough cards in hand and enough clicks in a turn that you actually can beat things like Stone Ship, Class Act, basically just about any death prevention besides like Caldera, something that actually can prevent net damage. Against Jupestat, I was going to say, I actually missed a line where Stone Ship is useful. You can't block the combo, but you can threaten to draw before they score. It means they have to shuffle 7. Yeah, they have to play around it. If you have Stone Ship, you can preemptively pop before they score, which makes it awkward, but if they see it coming, they should plan around it. It's just like click 1 predictive, click 2 seamless, click 3 Neurospike. It's doable, it's beatable, it's just harder. I keep convincing myself that I want to play Isla because I love her as a character. Sanjay, the fact that like the Digital Gardener is like such cool flavor, and then unfortunately it's Isla, mechanically. But yeah, I totally hear you. Also, how's it going, Sanjay? Means they have to put 3 advancements to threaten, not just 2, yeah. My first deck I ever played was Diogen's World Tree Isla. I had no idea such a legend made that deck at the time. That is the person in my meta I argue about Isla. And like, that's the thing, is like the idea to play Isla so you can get World Tree consistently, to me makes no sense. Maybe back at the time Cabinessa wasn't legal anymore, but it's like, it's a program. You could just put down an SMC. There's so many ways to get this: test run, rejig, compile. Like there's a lot of ways to cheat this thing out, that having a relevant ID ability while playing a World Tree deck is more important than getting the World Tree maybe a click sooner or a turn sooner. What's a dispossessed Risty? Risty is the term they use for like a wealthy person. Like Ritzy is attached to Ritzy from my understanding, and dispossessed because I believe she lost all her wealth and that's why she's running. I forget the narrative around Andy. Shaper Rebirth out of Isla is a really fun card. Just Minder plus Kit Split was a cool tool. When you rebirth out of Isla, your NVRAM is absolutely messed up, right? Like you can't touch it. Barfthula, he had 3 ice in the deck this time, but he still thinks the build is not quite optimal. He's going to wait till CBI to publish. Yeah, that makes sense. I do think Jaguar Undy makes sense in the deck. I think that deck is like really hard to optimize, but it's pretty good. Risty from Aristocrat. That makes a lot of sense. Same word where Ritzy comes from is from Aristocrat, I imagine. But yeah, that's Aristocrat. Yeah, I'm not sure what the story of Andy was. Either she was like a trader or something, but there's like a lot of Netrunner cards that link to the Andy lore. Because when Andy rotated, she ran away. So on the lam, it shows Andy disappearing. Class Act, mind you, shows Andy reclining on a beach. But yeah, you see here, she removes a wig and her red shawl and disappears into never to be seen again. But that's Andy. I guess her dress, not her shawl. The dress has really cool patterning. It's not obvious because it kind of looks like a, what's it called? A watermark, the FFG watermark, but the sort of like, it's really cool. I've looked through a bunch of his Ellinger's full arts. They're great. Last time I played, I was to play Spark of Inspiration combo, which is doubly defensible because 1, she can find your events, and 2, that deck isn't going to be good no matter what you do. Sorry, Sanjay. Sanjay, did you go to PAX? By the way, I've been enjoying the Null Signal Station. We'll shout out the last, I didn't even open JNet, the last episode of it. But you can hear Sanjay on that. Ritz Hotel and Rurzg? What's Rurzg? Let's play some Andy decks. Yo, we're gonna talk about an Andy deck today because I have this old Team Covenant video up to talk about like old Netrunner, and it's Andromeda versus RP. It's Sasha Friedman, the Shovel, versus Sam Big Deal Suede. Old school. But yeah, I want to talk about this a bit because like old Netrunner is hilariously different. And always like taking a moment to try and like look back and like kind of emulate it to see like, whoa, this turn I installed a nice and clicked for 2 credits and I felt good. Like it's so wild. No one draws Netrunner characters like Matt Zellinger's Styles Iconic. It's really, really good. And it's always surprising to remember that the original core set, Matt Zellinger did not do the characters. Right? Like Kate and Gabe were, I don't think my favorite arts, and like Noise was cool though. But like, you'd think they're Zellingers. It feels like a Berenstain Bears thing. Hosh, I think that's okay. Matchup 55. It might be Mulchy. If they find an early imp, that's like the worst case for us. But here we can do like Hydra, install NGO front, credit. That'll put us on 9. I think just Hydra Rashida credit might be fine. I think we could consider keeping this. Could be on Ma. Yeah, Ma's a bit slow though. I don't think we mind too much. It's going to be an issue, but like they have to afford that. Best of luck, have fun. So this hand doesn't have like, we have an early jam. It is the Rashida. We're also Asmari. We're just going to call event. If they steal Bologna from our opening hand, it's okay. I think we can keep this. It's not the best, but we can keep this. You mentioned your old unboxing videos the other day. I watched a couple and you needn't be embarrassed. They were good. Thank you, Pete. I am embarrassed because I know me. But I'm glad they're, I'm glad that they're not ass. I don't like the amount of like vocal fry. I think I curse a lot for some point in the Metropole Grid era. I sometimes watch old streams and it's really wild because I have no memory of any of this stuff happening. Okay, this got ugly. We definitely want to get the re-education behind ice, but I think we might just do NGO front install advance because we don't have a huge incentive to push a Rashida, but we need to push a Rashida before the re-education. HQ, this is kind of rough. Yo, Kevin, how's it going? How you doing? I don't know how to play this hand. I think we just do Rashida remote server. Toll booth Hydra credit. I want to hide the Hydra. It's not we're gonna res it. If they play an event, we get this. It's a wild Kevin. It's a wild Jeff. Yo, Jeff, I edited together the runner side today. Corp side will be tomorrow afternoon. A video will be out on Monday. Hopefully you're doing well. How's your packs? Your card evaluations were pretty spot on, the ones I saw. That's interesting. I don't even remember how they were. They're probably on point, right? That's the mulligan button for Drew. I thought it was okay. Never heard that before? The mulligan button? Had a nice time at PAX. Did you teach people the game? I think you said you did. How does that work? Okay, they're running R&D. That's sick. Mind you, where's Mari? So we name a type of card, and when they play it, oh, they trash a spin doctor. That's fine. We gain 2 credits. So here on 3 credits, like to get back into the game, they really need to play an event. Well, Gachapon to Fermenter could do it. Hannah? All right, free Rashida, we'll take it. They flip, they're gonna be down on 2 credits. This is good for us. So now, ooh, that's bad. I think here we're going to ice up HQ. Okay, we're gonna mandatory draw. We're gonna ice up HQ. We're gonna put the NGO front in the remote server. We can leave R&D open. We are holding half the agendas in the deck. Unfortunately, we lost the spin doctor. We have 2 attitude adjustments. Those are the other ways that we can fix this. I think here we could do install credit, throw out a toll booth. We're not going to res 2 toll booths in the next turn. Event. Restream, bro. We did an imperialism. What are you talking about? How's it going? Hey, Pouch Server, a wild Kevin and a wild Jeff. How you doing? Oh, they get down in an early echelon. That is by no means a good way to deal with Hydra this soon in the game. We'll see if that catches up. They have Fermenter, Mom, Moshing Press. Okay, so this looks like a Reg Hosh. This doesn't look like a Virus Hosh. Jeff and Lucas and I played John Company. I've heard good stuff. We got our 2 credits. I don't think I know people who would want to play John Company with me. It seems interesting. I spent about 6 hours on Saturday teaching at the booth. A lot of people came in by pairs, taught them the game, and they had them play the demo decks. How long are you with them? They have 2 cards in hand. The problem is... Okay, so we got to plan our turn before we go. We want to do install advanced re-education. If we top deck a seamless, then we're getting somewhere there. We could play this relatively slow. They have a buzzsaw, they have an echelon. Hydra is going to be 6 strength. If we get a rhyme in front of it, actually hits an annoying breakpoint for echelon. Message Chest was also pretty good, as much as we don't really want to advance it. A braver man might predict the planogram here for 3, but I think we have to do it for the money. I think we score this. I think the re-education is safer in server 1. I think if we do toll booth into Hydra, that might be a bit extra, but at least we have 2 targets. So if they botch this one, this seems okay. My partner and I both have post-PAX COVID. Hope you're feeling better soon, eh? It's really great seeing all the new people trying Netrunner. I teach for 10 to 15 minutes. I'm there for 3 to 4 turns, helping people and just hovering nearby. Hope you 2 make it through. Okay. Oh, that's really cool then. Sounds very cute. I said this before. I keep saying it. If you want to send me and Pat, we'll go out to Shucks if they do it next year. We'll just demo Netrunner. It'll be a lot of fun. Oh shit, they trashed our 2nd spin doctor. What's the chance of that? So we have a seamless launch. The problem is we don't have a neurospike. We're gonna start by drawing 3. Okay, Cordons are really cool. We have a Rashida, but not a good way to use Rashida. If we put her just on the table, they'll hand it into it, which is not fantastic. So I think we're gonna start scoring out. We can top deck a neurospike, no problem. HQ is slightly soft, that's for sure. So I think we do hedge fund, and I think we just put a rhyme in front of server 1. It makes Banhar suffer a bit. Next turn we can do advance. We just go from here. It's so much fun demoing Netrunner. Always the best people I meet at PAX. I believe it. I've been to 1 PAX once. I had a lot of fun. There are things I dislike about SG, but man, it's such a good teaching product. It is a really good, that's our rhyme, Banhard tag. It is a really good teaching product. Here we have to put another ice on HQ though, so we don't get Banhard to death. Also, people want to play John Company, they should hit me up on Discord. How long is the game of John Company, by the way? Buy bands, we got our 2 credits pretty consistently. They can't steal Bologna here, so the access on sub 3 is not great. We know where 1 Maw is. They have 2 more in the deck. They've gone pretty fast through their deck, 31 cards. Through the worst, she's having rough today. PAX is always the best time, though. Yeah, I hope you both feel better soon, huh? Cleaver, full breaker suite assembled. It's still pretty expensive to deal with a Hydra. 3.5 hours of her first game, including Teach. Oh, that's not that bad. Okay. We have enough money. Let's see what they Banhar. Banhar HQ is pretty rough. We might have wanted to put the 2 Mess and Chessos in a row, but we can't really res them. We can't really afford to advance this thing. It's kind of expensive. We can advance it once, maybe. It's a great time. I forgot my deck box at home, so I didn't get to play much Netrunner. Oh, bummer. Banger community event on Friday night. Was that the Thanksgiving one? I heard good stuff. Banhar on server 1. So the Rhyme is going to be a net damage. They can't even prevent it, which is fun. It's good fun. They have 0 credits. Their economy has totally fallen at the bottom. Thanksgiving free play and learn to play. Just score out? No, the deck doesn't score out. We never score re-education. We want to kill. As a deck, we only have 6 3-pointers. We have a really, really difficult time scoring out. It's a Rhyme. We're going to trade net damage for a card. We're expecting 10 people, 35 showed out. Oof. Hit a twinning, seems good. I don't want to res the toll booth. I want to res the Hydra, because the Hydra is going to be res for 5 credits. The toll booth just ends the run and does no damage. In theory, the toll booth is interesting because they draw less cards. So score them, they're all in hand? Nah, because we have to score all 3 of them. That's no fun. I'm not playing the Neurospike deck this week and not Neurospiking someone. There's no way. If we top deck a Neurospike, we win. Like next turn, we just do advance, Cordon. Okay, next we draw, Look, we win next turn. We just do advance, Cordon, throw out Rashida, event. So now to steal this, they have to get through all the ice, which they can't. They have to steal this. It costs 10 credits. And then we just do Seamless Neurospike. And we win. It's that easy. Jonathan Coulton has a whole vacation you could play. John Company called it Joke of Cruise. Only part of that is not true. And that's very funny. I forgot that Jonathan Coulton probably still does cruises. I have enjoyed Jonathan Coulton's music. I don't know if that's cringe or not, or if he has a really funny song in French. I was loving the free play. I'm pretty new to the game myself. Was teaching some other players. William, welcome to the game. I think it's so cool that players who are new to the game like understand that it's something pretty cool, and they're also like very willing to teach the game. I hope everyone had a good time despite the tight quarters as blast. I heard that PAX U is getting pretty busy, like just a lot of people there. All right, that's all, folks. We did it. We just whoops. Oops. So we just do this. Apparently you can play Neurospike on any turn. I didn't know that. Card to the bottom. This is how you fix your agenda flood, y'all. 1, 2. They have no... Can Gachapon draw anything? I'm just not gonna mess around. We could have drawn once here. We could have drawn once. I don't think Gachapon's gonna do anything. Action. Judge, tell me about it. Imagine they cracked their Gachapon and we got like some gained information. Yeah, okay, that's it. Yeah. Okay, good game. That's all the combo does. And I think it's actually pretty reasonable. I think they spread out. Like it's hard to know whether they you know, if you know the matchup, but it's pretty difficult. Thanks for the game. But like legitimately, it's very hard for most decks to deal with a toll booth into Hydra into an NAPD Gordon on turn 7. And the fact that we run so few agendas, barring the fact that we drew half the agendas in the deck, we don't have to ice up centrals that heavily, right? Like people are not playing Stargate. Heaven forbid they put down a Conduit or a Maw, like that's where it gets pretty ugly, but people are not playing Stargate. You can leave R&D open. Like it doesn't cost you the game unless they have imps or stuff like that. It's totally, I blinked the game in. We just put 3 ice down. We res a Rhyme. Game's over. It's wild. And like, I've no doubt Tuno played games like this all across Italian nationals. It's like, it's a deck. It's a legitimately kind of tricky deck to beat. PAX U sold out on Saturday. Never seen it happen before. That's wild. That's a lot of people, I reckon. Let's try it again. Yay, it's Thomas. It's a simple combo. You don't want to play your Neurospike on... Oh, that's not the right deck. You don't want to play your Neurospike on on click 1. It's usually wrong unless you score an agenda. It gets a lot better. Should people start attacking Stargate as a surprise? I don't know. Why did people stop playing Stargate? It's just hard to make a lot of runs. It's just twinning is really good. Thanks, you too. Arsana I think is a bit more tricky than other options. Wraparound's a really nice Arsana start. We're gonna risk this in. We have the Neurospike, we have the re-education. We'll put Rashida behind Wraparound and hope they don't steal the re-education from Essentials. How do you beat it? Genuinely tricky. Inside Job is good to force them to have to res. You can play around a lot of the tech cards. Having 2 Stone Ship chart rooms is like kind of difficult to beat. Like there's no way around it. It is genuinely hard to beat. I'm not gonna play the hedge fund because I want hand padding. We actually could put the Spin Doctor out. That's probably better hand padding. Where's Stargate? I honestly don't know. Hey, do you call program against Arsana? The deck has like 9 events. Some of them you want to play on turn 1. I'm going to say program. We'll see how bad that goes. Stargate feels so bad into Oppo. You'd be able to money up Stargate Void. That's a big point in Lava. Yeah, you're right. Shit. That's not good. This res is like very telling that we have an agenda in there. We probably should call the event. Let's Stargate. I think MU is more of an issue for an Anarch, not because you don't have bin breakers. That's true. Yeah, that also is true. It's like no bin breakers. MU is tighter because you have to put your stuff down. Turbine takes up MU. People are playing that. Yeah, I think that's a legitimate point. There's probably like a lot of small things that all come together. Could have called the event there. Probably should have. Yeah, Oppo is also rough. Well, it's not like you're running R&D that often. They can trash that if they want. Ah, they played an event. Wow, we played that terribly. That's okay. Let's not worry about it. Wraparound is genuinely difficult to deal with. Okay, we have everything in hand besides ice. So how do we play this turn? Now we definitely don't call event. Now we have to stick to program, otherwise they start playing programs. So having a bit of money is nice. We have to dump. We're going to discard a card here. Re-education behind this ice is not good. We can open with Spin Doctor, but then we have too many cards here. Cordons are going to... We basically have our 2 card combo. So next, if we do this turn, install Advanced Events Re-education, and they just can't break it. If they can't break a wraparound on this turn, which like you can't slap handle this as 7 strength, we can win next turn. This costs 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, we're short on credits. Okay, so following turn. So we'll put this in a new remote server, and I think we just hedge fund. I don't think we're going to need 2 cordons. Probably don't need... Oh, almost did. Just jam. I want a second ice. I think Ari's going to sweat 2 ice. Ari also doesn't have a good way to deal with Hydra. Ari has a good way of dealing with Toll Booth, though, as shows Adam Doyle's art. Come on, play a program. You're going to. You're going to want to. Play a program. There you go. Thank you. 2 credits. Don't hit the re-education. I'll res this. That's fine. NGO friend, that's fine. Ari can Eco Hydra's not too bad. It's pretty expensive on this turn. Like, the environmental is going to go off, but I wanted ice. There's actually a chance the Cordon was right, because we could have gone install advanced Cordon, and next turn we could have done seamless advanced Neurospike. No, that's not enough. I want another piece of ice here. Holy shit. What? Huh? There's 11 ice and 26 cards? That's weird. This hand stinks. All right. IA go? I don't want... Yeah, I guess. It's going to be a long stream tonight, huh? You can't undo click on an NAPD Cordon? Wait, you can't uncordon yourself? I want to uncordon myself, JNet. Am I cordoned? What? The cops, there's too much tape. You didn't undo it. It just moves the cordon to HQ. Oh, cool. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, we're fine. I think I want to hold 1. We don't have the NGO fronts. Once you play Cordon, you're a cop. No coming back from that. That's how my dad became a cop. He accidentally played Cordon on turn 3. 30 years on the force. Ah, Burnham's playing Gachapon. Love Gachapon. Arasana. This is not going to go well for us. It's okay. We have another one. You got corded. Ah, slap handle on the top. Doesn't do it. Got him. Slap don't beat rap. Yeah, 7 strength. That's a good number. There's no more knight no more. Oh, excuse me, that was rude. He's still gachaponing. Falling for the classic trap of 6 being less than 7. 1 click away from retirement. It's my last click on the force. And look. So actually this deck can set up a way to slightly survive. You need to basically, well, no, you can draw 6 cards. So like you can do Simul Chip or SMC, but hey. He has 13 credits though. So we have to do advance, and then either we do another ice, which is useless, or we do Cordon. I think we do Cordon here. Because he has to figure out how to deal with this. And then if he does, we have re-education. 6 afraid of 7, but why Sanjay? Yeah, why Sanjay? Literally the best possible audience you could ask for. So now they've figured out how to beat a wraparound, which is, it needs an SMC, but you still have to get in with 10 credits or you die. Or you just die. I want to let everyone know also that re-education never saw any play in the history of Netrunner until Neurospike existed. Game's over. So Simul Chip, they can drop to 6. So we do Seamless. Action. Bravery paid off. It did. It very much did. So Burning can cycle with a Simul Chip to get up to another hand size. So we have to bottom 4 cards here. So we'll bottom everything besides what we need. Mind you, we could draw 2 Neurospikes. Don't mess that up. We didn't. And now even if he Simul Chips to draw a card with Lily Pad, that's the game. Turn 5. Nothing to it. Wraparound Cordon. I think the Cordon is such a good inclusion in the deck. I think Cordon's a better card than it looks, barring that there's not imps. Yeah, Wrap is a big ol' Ari hate card, huh? Yeah, Wrap is kind of pretty reasonable right now. They don't have a window after your score. They don't have a window after a score. They do. They have. We can't play the Neurospike until we give them priority. Right? Like we score, we finish our paid ability, then we have to pass it to them. Then if they do nothing, then we can play Neurospike. They can always react to it. They couldn't if the Neurospike was a paid ability, because we can do all our paid abilities in a row, right? Jason, how's it going? I used to be re-education with bioethics because I wanted an excuse to use the beginning of turn scoring window. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Should challenge Rashida turn 1. I knew there was no punish. Yeah, I wasn't on Hydra money, so you can just send it. Yeah. That's why Jupe stat is fun as well, because the core damage happens immediately. Yeah, the core damage happens all in the same scored paid ability window, which is like very, very potent. You can still like draw cards ahead of it if you have the tech. It's still like, it's harder to beat Class Act. Well, no, you just have to draw before you do the combo. It's possible. There was a time after Brain Rewiring combo where people tried to re-education. But don't you have to be HB to like have enough clicks to do that? Worst case would have been mess, but I think that hurts you more than me. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, YouTube. Yeah, early Rashida helped a lot. We drew really weird. We wanted 2 ice there. We obviously drew no ice. That's how it goes. My opponent really got good at post-game analysis picking out that. Your opponent really good at post-game analysis picking the Rashida line. When you have only 5 turns in a game, of which you've only played 4 of them, it's really important that you point out something so you had agency. I'm kidding. The Rashida line is totally correct. But like when you have a 4-turn game, it's like very easy to look at something and be like, oh, I probably should have done that. Because like at the end of the day, sometimes you don't make that many decisions. Yeah, that's Neurospike. I'm telling you, it's good. And we saw this on stream. Like I cast one of Tuno's games over on turn 5. And unfortunately, the runner also knows it if they know what you're playing. They're like, I can't get in there. I have no way to beat the combo. It's over. And specifically, this is such a good surprise. Like, I think one of the runners we might have seen playing against Tuno, they were like, oh, I can run the server next turn. And then Corden comes down and they're like, oh, crap, really? It's like quad advanced or something. Brutal deck. I tell you, I know. I know. I think Criminal is good against into it. Like the fact that you have to fight off diversion is kind of difficult. But at the end of the day, nobody's playing Mad Dash. It's hard to win. It's hard to win before this goes off. So you have to stop this from going off, which requires very aggressive setup. Combo feels a bit too good. We lost very miserably when we played last week, so I don't think it's like entirely one-sided. But yeah, I think just 2 ice on a remote server push is a bit, maybe a bit much, but I don't know. I don't know the meta enough to know whether this is beatable or not. But there are a lot of decks that are just going to inherently struggle against this. I'm worried we're going to see this on Saturday. We have an event on Saturday. There's no way someone's not playing the deck list of the week and like losing to this. Oh man, you don't make a lot of choices before it's over, which I think feels the worst. It feels very draw dependent. It does, but it's also a 44 card deck with like a lot of card draw. Like obviously Rashida firing is one thing, but like Spin Doctor, Attitude Adjustment, Predictive Planogram, it is definitely draw dependent, but it's not that draw dependent. Like it's one of the decks that obviously is draw dependent, but it has so much of a shell that really supports its draw dependency. Because like at the end of the day, this is the only card you need, West Re-Education. Like you can win without Seamless Launch, right? If you draw Gear Check, the runner can't deal with it and rush it out their toast. I would also argue though that like being able to deal with the Hydra 2 turns in a row, 3 turns in a row is kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult. Like you can build a taxing server, but yeah, eventually a Breaker Suite comes down. If you don't know the meta enough, who does? Testing groups. Like this is a really big thing. It's something that's definitely worth noting. I'm not part of a testing group. I don't grind games and like know the meta and know what people are brewing. I go to an event and I find out there. I can tell you what happened at the last event because of casting. I can tell you what's on JNet. I can tell you what's on NetRunnerDB. But when it comes down to like what people are quietly talking about before Worlds, like I don't know. And anybody who's in a testing group has some idea of what's brewing. So like there's a lot more people that know more about what's like hot than I do. For better or for worse. Who grinds games? I wish I did. I should grind games some more. I really do. Grinding games is for losers? Okay, Rongi. You just whisper, whisper, whisper. Exactly. No, for real. You can double Neurospike after Bologna too. Yeah, it's a lineup I've not ever done myself. But yeah, scoring out of Bologna into double Neurospike is also like totally doable. It's like pretty bad into Anarchs, but most Anarchs are not going to hold their Steelskin Scarrings because they are aware that it doesn't actually interact with the main combo. So they rather use them to draw deeper into their deck is what I would say. But yeah, you totally can just like score out of 5-3 double Neuro. Better lucky than good is better to don't practice. It's not that I don't practice, but like admittedly also I don't compete, which is something I need to fix. I need to play an AMT or something. I need to get something. What is a testing group? Come on, come on. Quick rules question is Lat. If you have 2 core damage, can you stone ship after discard to get Lat and a turn drop? The corp has a 5-card hand. Oh, I'd have to look. I did a whole video on this. I have to look at the timing chart. Chat is just no followed by yes. You check for hand size, then there's a paid ability window, then there's the end of turn trigger. So I'm assuming yes, because you discard down to hand size, then you can do a paid ability window, then you do end of turn check. My gut says yes, but unfortunately, NetRunnerDB doesn't have the timing chart. I wish it was available here. You can stone ship after discard. Yeah, there is a timing window after you discard to hand size. That's the same time winning window where like, you know, you have 7 cards in hand, you discard down to 5 and you think you're going to get Lat because the corporation has 5 and then the corporation reses a Spin Doctor. So there is very importantly a window, a paid ability window for both players, res, paid ability window, all basic paid ability window after discard down to hand size, but before end of turn trigger. So I would say confidently yes, without looking at the rules. Yeah. Go play December AMT. I was thinking about a Jai, but on the 17th I'm traveling out to see family for the holidays. That's actually the day that the Metropole Grid shuts down for a couple weeks. You can stone ship out a discard and get Lat. Thank you. Timing chart. Going to open it. Thank you, Seb. All rules queues go through Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Speaking of that, shit. Okay, this one's on me. Sick. Thank you. This is the one that should be on NetRunnerDB. It's not. Shout out to the folks who put this together, but this is the exact one, right? Breaching server discard phase, discard phase. The runner discards card until they reach a hand size, so core damage will hit you there. This is the paid ability window that you can res a Spin Doctor, fire Stone Ship. Then you do these that don't really matter, and then the runner's turn is complete. That is when you do end of turn triggers, like Lat. So yeah, you definitely can. Coming out west to where I grew up in Ontario. So more west than where I am, but less west than Michigan. Seabass, you rock. Tell me about it. Okay. We're going to do some quick news stuff. We shouted this out on Tuesday, so we're going to shout it again. There is an AMT. It is time zoned for those who live in APAC, if I'm not mistaken. It technically starts, I've been told, Saturday evening here in my timing chart is better. Lucille, then share it. You think you can come in there and you can do your playful banter and you're not going to share your cool timing chart? Anyways, these are coming up. AMTs have been sick. There's a lot of folks who are grinding the AMTs and they're getting really good play out of it, and it's a fun event. So this will be, again, they're always streamed on the Null Signal Games Discord channel. Wow. Null Signal Games Twitch channel, which is Null Signal Netrunner at Twitch. But this is going to come up. I think this is like one of the largest lead times between when they've been announced and when they're coming up. So no excuse. Besides me, I have an excuse. Otherwise, this Saturday, there is an event in Montreal. It is, it's going to be cool. There's actually a lot of folks coming in for this. Well, I think we're overbooked to some extent. So if you're going to l'Abyss, there's either a chance that we'll be in the basement, which is an okay spot that if you've been there, you probably played that before, or maybe we'll be upstairs at the sort of like cafe area. We're not sure. We might be more people than we think there will, and which means we'll probably be underground, which is still fine as if you like tabletop miniatures. But that will be on Saturday. There's the last CO in Montreal. I think there's a CO the following day if you go like 4 hours south of the border in the... It's not here, but it's probably there. Yeah, it's probably off the chart, but this one Neon Static is doing. And Ocarina is going on. I think Sanjay's probably running this. That's usually how it goes. Maybe. If you don't know what Ocarina is, we've streamed Ocarina tournaments before. This is an online tournament. In short, your identity is a connection. It's called the only kind, you're the only type of runner New Angeles. Isn't it kind of runner? I forget what the text is on Caddy Jones exactly. But this is a really cool tournament where basically there's a whole bunch of new IDs. The whole list of legal IDs and their influence kind of warps between new sets, and they get balanced updates. It's a really cool format where if you wanted to ask the question, can I be Augustina Ivanskaya as my runner ID? And the answer is yes. And she probably has 15 influence. You can be Mystic Miami? That's so boring. Augustina 4015, even better. Build your own noise. It's good. I'm not. Test running's running it. Okay, thank you, Sanjay. I know Sanjay ran these back in the day. It's a cool format. You get some really wild stuff. There's usually some broken combos and stuff that gets found out. It's kind of like the Wild West of Eternal, where like the Falcons are out there figuring stuff out, but it's pretty cool. You can be Slash and Burn Agriculture as your ID. That's kind of neat. The fact that the companions are in here is wild. I wouldn't say wild as much as I would say slightly boring, but the cards blank for the rest of the game is really wild text when it comes to your thing. You could even be salvo testing. Holy shit, 3 influence salvo testing. Oh, I read Stagadon. 8 influence, 50 card deck. Does not do a core damage on game start as the idea is not an agenda. Thank you. That's really cool. Caddy Jones flavor text is the only type of runner in New Angeles, but I forgot the word and made up for such a better acronym. I know that you goofed the acronym originally many moons ago. So that is the one. Well, this is also slightly wrong. It's fine. That's really cool. Salvo testing finally playable. Okay, cool. Other stuff I want to shout out, especially this. I heard good feedback about this. I only recently watched this between Tuesday stream and now, but Sokka put up this really good live stream in which he talks about playing Glacier. If you don't know Sokka, that's Will here, who won Worlds twice in a row, and he played this really strange deck. It is a plotting Wayland Glacier deck. Brendan, enjoy your dinner. Thanks for dropping in, eh? Salvation. And it is a wild deck. And I talked about this at the beginning of the stream, but like sometimes the issue with Glacier, and I ran into this as well, and I know I was saying this in the comments, is we had some gameplay in Cannats where there's a player playing heavy, like Asmari, Rotom-esque Glacier, and a lot of people don't think it's interesting. And that's because Glacier is played at obviously a really slow pace. And a lot of the very important decisions are not obvious to a lot of folks. And so there's a really good stream here where like Sokka goes through, not too dissimilar to the thing we put up on Monday, but goes through a submitted replay where a player who's learning the game is playing Sokka's list, and Sokka tells you like how he would play it. And the majority of the focus, because the majority of things that you're doing with this deck is you're learning when to push out the agenda, which the answer is, are you on a double-digit turn? Wait a couple turns, then you should do it. But also understanding where your ice placement is, because ice placement is so important when it comes to face checks, when it comes to playing around things like Inside Job, when it comes to things like playing around Banhar. It's like very, very important how to play around. Like we run into things like obviously these Botulists. We run into things like Tranquilizer. Like it's a pretty wild matchup. It goes pretty long too. It's a bit of a grind. We get to the bottom of the deck. But the sort of decisions that you're making on this deck, firstly, are very, very interesting as much as it's a play that you make now that's going to be exciting in 6 or 7 turns, which is like one of the things that Sokka shouted out about this deck, which I think is so fascinating. Mind you, a link for this will be in the description, is that specifically this is a deck, mind you, that is not playing Rashida. And I don't think I realized that at Worlds. Not that I didn't realize that, but I don't think I realized how important that is. And because there's a difference the way that you played this deck that to me reminded me so much about Netrunner circa 2014, 2015. And cards like Rashida are like super emblematic to what Netrunner looks like right now, where you have a card in a remote server as soon as turn 1 that gives you 3 cards and 3 credits. And 3 cards and 3 credits is much more than this deck will do in a single turn, let alone a Replicating Perfection Glacier deck that you played at the World Championship in 2014. Right? Like back then, there were so many turns where your turn was install an ice, click for 2 credits, and then you'd spend the first, and that's what this deck does. It spends the first like 10 to 11 turns of the game, maybe even more, probably more, hiding agendas, where you're using your spin doctors not to like tempo you into new agendas, but just to hide the agendas. Because you're not ready to push them out until you have a server that's 3 ice deep that costs the runner like 20 credits to run, and then you bio vault them. And it's a sort of playstyle that is so reminiscent back in the day if you played Replicating Perfection. And it's something that's like really interesting, where you make these slow plays and you have this proposition that down the line, I know I'm going to overwhelm you and you're going to struggle for single accesses, and we can push for a world in which like we're going to be entirely locked out. Where the run-based economy, obviously that doesn't make any sense. And even back in the day, like we have this really good video that I want to run through really quickly because it's such a blast from the past, in which like we have Replicating Perfection putting 3 ice on every single server versus Andromeda playing like Andy Desperado sucker, right? And that wants to run all the time. It's so wild. Sorry, 3 hours. Are we entering the H Bomber Guy era in Netrunner content? It would be 4 hours. D. It would be 351. Yeah, I watched it. It's pretty good. H Bomber Guy is always a treat. As much as like it's heavy, but it's good. Both new HB agendas are so bananas and stressed us out so much figuring out the new Ocarina card pool. Andre too good at citing his sources for that. No joke. So like I wanted to watch through this. I don't know if that's gonna be really interesting. We'll definitely watch it at 2x speed at a minimum. For those who don't know, Team Covenant, they're I think maybe now a series of stores in Tulsa, Oklahoma, run by a bunch of people, and like just straight out, they are the reason this channel exists right now, because I got into Netrunner through the content they put up and Shut Up Sit Down saying the game is really good, and then they were doing like data pack reviews and they were putting gameplay coverage like this, and this is how I got into the game, and I started doing something that are very similar to this. The videos I put out when we do live gameplay is very reminiscent to this sort of quality back in the day. So huge shout out to these folks. They don't really play Netrunner anymore. They do other stuff on their channel. I don't follow it as much. I know they do big distribution of things across all of North America where you can like subscribe to them and get stuff through them, which like cool. No comment, just saying hi. But these sort of games, okay, I don't know if folks are going to find this as interesting as I am, but like this is the exact same playing pattern that was totally wild back in the day. So speaking about H Bomber Guy, obviously this is going to be in the citation in the background. This should be transformative content, but at 2x speed. I just want to show you like how the core plays, and it's so wildly different if you're getting into Netrunner now. Just to have an idea what we're looking at Replicating Perfection. And Replicating Perfection was an ID that existed maybe just a while ago when this was in the old system core 2019. And it says the runner cannot run on a remote server unless they run on a central server first. It's like literally the text on Front Company, which sees no play now, and Front Company is a bit more fiddly. Audrey's a React streamer now, basically. But yeah, it was a very weird identity. It won Worlds in 2014, and it was kind of the same situation in a lot of ways to like how Built to Last was at this Worlds, where I would imagine there was not a lot of players playing Replicating Perfection at the 2014 Worlds, and one of the players who did won Worlds, and also won Worlds the next year as well. And it was kind of a dark horse deck from my understanding, and I didn't play competitively. I wasn't at Worlds back then. I was still in college, but it was a bit of a surprise. This is a bit after, this is 2015, where people understand how RP Glacier works, and most of the decks were like pretty wild or pretty consistent what they did. Did you ever play against the Team Covenant guys? No, I've never played against them. I never met them. They were used to do commentary at Worlds, and I think by the time I started going to Worlds, they stopped. So I never really met these folks. Andre just grafting off of all of us, going all these lengths to avoid playing a game on JNet. We'll get there. Look, I just want to go through this really quickly, but this is like very common, especially when you're playing against Desperado. And for those, again, who don't know, Desperado was a console that said every time you make a successful run, gain a credit. It was the wildest console. You only got one of in your core set back in the day. A lot of people bought multiple core sets just to have multiple of these. Team Covenant still sells tokens. You still see them around. I didn't realize they still sell tokens. They have really nice tokens. I was always super jealous of them. But they were really expensive to get into Canada. RP is the perfect example of a card that was waiting for its time, went from unplayable when it's released to unbeatable in a couple of years. And the way that it went like that was like very subtle. Like Sundew was out basically at the same time as it, but I think people didn't understand. I think Caprice coming out was obviously a really big deal, but just the slow play, that is not too different than how people played Engineering the Future and the years before or after that. Top 5 runner cards of all time according to Trash Robusto. I would believe it. I haven't done Torb in a while. Penny Shaver, but it doesn't protect you for universal connectivity fee. Yeah, exactly. But this sort of play style, like, where are you going to spend? This is, I was going to pull out my click counter, but I don't think for the sake of the stream, we want to go through every single, what's it called? Every single click here. But the amount of turns before, again, Sam Swade, who's the guy on the big deal, scores out is going to be many, many, many turns. And this is not too dissimilar to how a lot of like mid-range Glacier was that just strictly, I would say, doesn't exist in Netrunner right now. Like the sort of scoring out remote server decks, things like Precision Design, they're trying to score out on turn 4. And also one of the big deals is that all of the agendas in these decks, they're not tempo positive. Offworld Office, when it came out, to a lot of folks was messed up, myself included. When the corporation scores on an agenda, one of the major conceits in Netrunner was that was meant to cost them something. They had to take out a whole turn to score an agenda that maybe gives them an ability that's like cool in a couple turns, but not right now. And right now we're in a world where scoring agendas usually are tempo positive that do something right now for the board. Gain 7 credits, trash a program, you know, get something else on top of it. It's still messed up, Kyle. It is kind of still messed up, but at least it's a much more dynamic and interesting game. And while, if you look at this, right, like, I'm fast forwarding. We're already at 2x speed. Every time I go forward, it goes over 10 seconds. But so you stick a Sundew, mind you, Sundew is a card that I swear is going to be reprinted in the next set because it's like Pikatea. But it says the first time the runner spends at least a click on their turn, gain 2 credits unless the runner makes that click running Sundew. But the thing with, again, Front Company with Replicating Perfection is you can't run Sundew first click because you have to run Essential. It's the sort of, you know, economic support that both Jinteki needs and Atea needs and Front Company needs. Maybe we'll see in the next set. Who knows? But like this sort of play pattern is not dissimilar to what Sokka is doing, where we're just going to set up a board state and then we're finally going to score out on turn 12, where everything has 3 ice on it. And you'll notice every turn that Sam Swade does, like, look at this. Draw a card. Okay, we draw. Oh, he's actually drawing a lot now. Install an ice, take a credit. That's every turn. There's no big tempo plays. There's no huge pushes. There's no like wild, you know, haymakers, which again, I think NSG set out to do that. And I think that's not bad. Archives HQ R&D, what a cursed layout. Yeah, that is messed up. That is kind of weird. Double pups, mind you, a 1 credit ice that cost a runner 2 credits was sick back in the day. Arguably, there's no ice like this right now, which is kind of strange. It's kind of strange, but pup used to be like a very exciting ice. Res for 1, they break for 2. Off the top, NABD contract, defensive agendas, that's very common in this deck, but we're still trucking along. Again, now we have a Caprice and remote server protecting a Sundew. This is the closest to Adrian's ice, but it just ended the run and had really wonky timing. Looks like Sasha got the side game here, and this is it. 3 S on R&D, 2 on HQ, 2 on archives. Black screen, unfortunately. Have you seen the updated text on Sundew? I don't want to read it. Yeah, it's really bad. NSG had to do a lot of work to make the text on Sundew rules complete. Pop-up is like pup. Yeah, but nobody plays pop-up. Pop-up is only 1 credit to go through. Like, costing the runner money is, I think, more important. But notice this deck. Just very slowly, every turn, the board state absolutely gradually builds out. The spin doctors are going to be burned through, but mostly to manage agendas in HQ. And we're not going to score out a first agenda until like turn 5, turn 6. Spin doctor is on the table. We're just using to hide agendas. We're 20 minutes in. The corporation hasn't even tried to score an agenda. For those who don't know, Spin Doctor is basically what's, mind you, sorry, Jackson Howard is what Spin Doctor was. But when you res it, you didn't draw 2 cards, but you could shuffle 3 back in instant speed. Yo, Izzy, how's it going? Tithe? Yeah, you're right. Tithe is the closest, but people just let Tithe fire. Tithe is, I think, in a better spot than it has been a while. Yeah, we probably should play Tithe in this. We're still going. 22 minutes in, the corporation's not even trying to score out. We have a remote server that eventually this thing will be overridden. The runner's just trying to get their value again with their engine. Caddy Jones, the anti-glacier technology that is basically Fermenter. It also had to click to draw 2. Yeah, the click to draw 2 is really important because you installed it, you draw 2, you draw 2, you throw out 3 agendas. Like, that's actually super important. The way that Spin Doctor was played in these decks is you install it, you res it, you draw 2, and you discard 3 agendas to archives and you shuffle them back in, which makes sense for this board state where you're saying, I have 3 agendas in archives, you have to run the Spin Doctor or archives, and then they'll go back in R&D. Yeah, Crick actually shows up right now. What's his name? Stephen Woolley, and I'm not sure who he's commentating with. I think it is Zach. are talking about how bad Crick is when you break it for like 5 credits with Gordian Blade. Really funny. Almost the entirety of the program suite is still tournament legal. This is the Mimic. For those who don't know, that's a Corroder and that's a Gordian Blade. This is a Fairy, which imagine Revolver, but weirder. And then Leech is literally, this is Data Sucker, which is literally Leech. Funny enough too, like this is so the same. Desperado is basically Penny Shaver, but better. Caddy Jones, there is no thing to equal Caddy Jones. And then Mr. Lee is basically Class Act, but bad. It was spend a click to draw 2 cards and bottom 1. So you had to click it. But basically everything that's happening here is no different than what someone's playing a criminal deck at modern Netrunner. Like Netrunner is the same game on this side of the table. It's just this side of the table has changed so immensely. Pup Eli Booth HQ, damn. Yeah, when you pay 4 for Eli with like Corroder, it's so wild, right? Caddy's kind of like Smart Word Distributor, but the math is in some ways worse, in some ways better. A great fondness for meta. Yo, Jordy, me too. How's it going, by the way? I do too. And this was like, right now, Sasha's digging for his R&D interface, which is a card that just says when you access cards from R&D, see 2 cards instead of 1. It's kind of like Docklands Pass, but it works forever, not the first round, and it costs 4 credits. So this is it. We're 23 minutes in. The first agenda is in a remote server. It looks like it's probably an Issei Mark II. We're running archives. There's that massive crick. It's like 6 strength on archives. Don going to change runner finally by rotating the best breakers. Now you're just going to see similar breakers. But I think the best breakers right now are in System Gateway, so I'm not actually sure. But this sort of play pattern where you just manage agendas, you ice up everything is kind of what Sokka is doing. And there's no deck that was like this at Worlds. I don't think it's super surprising. You see here, Spin Doctor is shuffling 3 agendas back in. Despy's Penny Shaver, but better is a mind-blowing understatement. I'll stand by it. It's not wrong. And now we're scoring out. And like, this is wild. Like you don't see this. 25 minutes in first agenda is not what Netrunner looks like right now. Obviously Jinteki might have problems, but I wanted to spend some time today to kind of rebuild a suite like this and to see how bad it is, because it's really bad. FFG rounds, I think they're 65 minutes. This is only one game, mind you, in 40 minutes, and time is called. So the first game probably went fast. The ending to this game is pretty clutch. It ends with like some wild side games and a run R&D that like almost is lethal. There's some wild stuff going on here. But at the end of the day, yeah, this is what it was. Is every turn, this is not too dissimilar than what you see in Sokka doing. Is install nice, click 2 credits. Play a celebrity gift, click for credit, right? And it's just building this inevitability is something that we just don't see anymore, for better for worse. The game is so much faster. When you have a card like Rashida, in 1 turn, it gives you what this deck does in 3 turns, right? Is that better? I think it kind of is. I think it's a more fun game. It's just like so nice to look at that and remember how the game was and how different it was. Also want to shout out for Sokka too. They interviewed Sokka recently in the last episode of the Null Signal Station Special. Shouldn't be the link that's open. It should be the one, yeah, with Sokka. Sokka, mind you, shouts out Metropole Grid, which is quite kind. He said this is a nice place for beginners. And then you go to him for the advanced content. Thanks, Sokka. But yeah, this is good. I definitely recommend watching this because I think a lot of players, especially new players, they get ice placement and ice positioning. They don't understand how important it is. And specifically when you play a deck where most of the decisions you're making on where is the ice going, it's very, very important. And this sort of video highlights it, which is really well. So you want to make a huge mistake? You want to go slow in Netrunner? You want to see how bad it is? The video was helpful. It was really good. Yeah, it was a really good video. I put together this list earlier today. I think we should put Tithe back into it, but I think we tried to build a really bad RP deck modernly to see how slow it is. Our rules is we're going to play Netrunner as if it is 2015, and we're going to stick by the rules, and we can actually build a facsimile of this list. As much as in some ways it's worse, as much as some ways it's better. I don't have high hopes for this deck, but I'll show you how different Netrunner is when you play in a world without Rashida. We're playing NGO friend, mind you, so that's fun. So I'll explain where we're on. I thought originally we'd play Atea, but Atea doesn't make a lot of sense. The sort of decks we're mimicking, I pulled up some examples of what they should look like. Mind you, I thought I did. I think I did here. Yeah. So these are the sort of lists that we're trying to replicate. So we want to look for something ripe about 2015. I was looking originally at like Hoyland's lists, but these are all like Grail lists. We don't want to do that. So let's do Striving for Perfection, I guess. So in terms of doing what we want to do here, the agenda suite, this one's strange. Oh, this is Encryption Protocol. Weird. And she has a nice instant influence free Thomas Haas substitute. Nice, yeah. Don't worry, he'll come back. He'll come back. I want to find one that's good. Probably this is fine. Fetal is one of the few old cards I know. Fetal is was in that deck that we just watched. There was Fetal. Okay, this is also really weird. I just want to find something that's like kind of vanilla. Where's Sam Swade's deck? Fetal is one of my favorite Netrunner cards of all time. Okay, so in short, how I would describe the deck. Okay, that's wrong. All right. So we want to ice up all centrals. We're eventually going to have a remote server. We're going to have something in the remote server that's giving us money until we want to use the remote server, and then we'll push out an agenda. We'll have two strong kinds of defensive upgrades. Look up Dan's World's 2014 list. You'd assume that it would show up very quickly, but it doesn't. I'm just going to do this one, but like Dan's lists are not well. They're not well documented. With Ag Infusion and Front Company, you can divert their first run so it's on a remote server, then call a judge. Wouldn't it be on Meteor? It probably would be on Meteor. I think this is pretty close to what it is. No, but this is on ELP. We're not playing ELP. Daily Quest, I think Daily Quest is too much influence, NetDad. I think we just play Maryland. Like, I honestly think we just play Maryland. It's exactly what we want. 2 credits a turn, and then it shuffles back. Like, that's totally good enough. Okay, we'll say it's something like this. We're playing Enhanced Logging Protocols in this. The version that I'm thinking of did not play this. This card is incredibly annoying. It's a current. Currents are banned in Netrunner. It was a card that you played that just stayed on the table till the runner played their own current. Was there one called 2014 World's Winner? Okay, World Winner, Netrunner, Replicating Perfection, Netrunner DB. Okay, that'll do it. Dan was on ELP? Was he? Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, cool. So the version that we watched wasn't. But in short, you have a lot of ice. This is actually a lot of ice. This is 18 ice. That's on the high end for a lot of decks right now. A lot of decks right now are on 16, 17 is considered high, 18 is even high. I remember back in the day, some Ag Infusion decks were playing like 20 to 22 ice because Ag Infusion's ability gets use of, you know, unresed ice. So like they would play even more. But that number got goofy big in modern Netrunner. And that's because the power of ice versus the power of other cards in Netrunner has shifted pretty heavily over what's last 10 years. It's a lot. The ice suite is pretty wild, or sorry, the agenda suite. Future Perfect is a card that has a lot of text on it, but it basically says when the runner accesses this not installed, side game. And if they lose the side game, they don't steal the agenda. So imagine you have one Future Perfect in HQ. This was the first truly defensive agenda from my memory, and this thing popped off. This was like the only common 5/3 that saw play in competitive Netrunner, I think basically till date. And the idea is that imagine you have one of these in HQ. The runner has to hit it on the 1 in 5, and then they have to win the side game 1 on 3. So Future Perfect was so safe in HQ. Obviously, you'd lose some of them, but like 1 in 5 to hit it through ice, and then 1 in 3 to steal it. Like that is so good. And this is a big strength of the deck is that the ice suite. And mind you, it was playing 21 agenda points unironically, right? Like most decks modernly don't do that. They try and play as few as they can. When we did the agenda math calculator, we found the difference between 20 and 21 was actually noticeable. But the thing with the Future Perfect is like the math is totally messed up because the runner needs a lot more access to try and steal this. Yeah. M.I.C Mark II was our strong ability. The way that this card works, it's still in the game, mind you, as much as you don't see it. But on top of that, the way that it works with the timing of Caprice Nisse, which has one of the worst paid timings in Netrunner, when the runner passes all of the ice on the server. Currently, all the upgrades say largely when they breach, barring Giordano and stuff like that, which at least they're consistent as much as that can be a nightmare for other reasons. I'm looking at you, Formicary. But the idea is that after you lost the Caprice side game, and Caprice basically says when the runner pays through, get all your ice, which is really expensive, you pay a side game. If you want to just say it's random, which it not really is, 1 in 3 times, you end the run. And then if you lost that, you could still fall back on an Ash Trace, which is the closest thing we have to Managarm, but this one just cared about money. So it's just like pay, beat me on money, and then you can only trash this. So kind of the closest thing we have. Managarm is meant to be a reimagining of Ash as much as it doesn't say Trace. It just gives you 2 options, both of which are kind of ugly. And then after all of that failed, if I'm not mistaken, you could still M.I.C Mark II. So the server was so hard to run. That is largely why this deck made sense to spend the first, again, 15 turns of the game just setting that beautiful server up. One card that we don't have in this deck, and it's actually really hard to put it into the deck because it's a lot of influence, is a card like Interns. Which again, for this deck, Caprice Nisse was so important that having a card that is a double, just reinstalled it from archives, was very much worth it. So when you saw the Interns in HQ, the art on this is like such a fun style for Netrunner. It just came back. That's hard to deal with. You could M.I.C after Caprice. Couldn't M.I.C if Ash failed? Because what's Ash's timing? Oh, yeah, you're right. You couldn't Ash after Caprice. But because Caprice, once Ash is the run successful, so yes, there's no paid ability window. That's totally true. So you can M.I.C after the Caprice fail, which is really good. Yeah. Otherwise, we just had minimum money, which was Celebrity Gift Hedge Fund. Mental Health Clinic was a wild card. Again, you res it for less. You res it for free, so it's credit positive on the turn you res it. That's pretty rare for most assets. 3 was a lot to trash back in the day. Mind you, Wizard wasn't very popular, assets weren't very popular, so 3 was a lot. And this gave the runner an upside that oftentimes they would consider not trashing this, as much as eventually Komainu came out and hand size was a problem for both players, so that's pretty wild. We talked about Sundew being super important, just have a card in their remote server that gave you true credits every turn, so that's great. And everything else is just ice. And a lot of this ice was just the best ice possible for the time. Eli used to be one of the best ice in the game. For a really long time, this was the best ice in the game. And that's because the main breaker people used to break all barriers back in 2014 was Corroder. It's still legal today. And Corroder broke Eli for 4 credits. That was backbreaking. 4 credits for an ice you res for 3 was unheard of. And the fact that you could click through Eli obviously is a downside, but it's not really a problem when RP is already so good at taxing your clicks. You have to run this first, then you have to run the Eli, then you have to click through the Eli, enhanced logging protocols, heaven forbid, and then you have to deal with the Caprice game, and then you just can't click through it. So it was so good. Himitsu Baku, I don't know why, but okay, a fun card. Wall of Thorns to be a chunky barrier. Again, you broke this for 5 with Corroder. That's not that bad. And then we had a wraparound, which was very good, but I forget why. Admin, maybe? I'm not sure. It's very much a multi-click operation Jinteki that installs non-operations from archives, though you're on record of being one of your least favorite cards. Oh, Kakurenbo. I guess you're right, yeah. All this in prepaid keys still got shot. Also, Eli looking like a kid is weird to me. Eli is a boy. He's the creator's boy. This is against the rules. Creators will be angry. There's a bunch of alternatives. Eli's like playing with blocks. Technically, he's a boy. Eli, too, he grew up. He's a teenager. But this is like the art that there's a lot of folks out there with Netrunner avatars that use young boy Eli. Because this is really good art. It's really fun art. Sandra Tang. I like the Eli art a heck of a lot. In terms of like humanizing Biroids, which is something that doesn't happen a lot on a lot of Netrunner art. Code Gates, Lotus Field, technically was important. Yogg was around, and while Netrunner Eyes came out around this time, you could not use Leech to boost your Buzzsaw because you can't decrease the strength, right? Because Leech decreases the strength, and so Buzzsaw had no way of dealing with this. And worth knowing, the Buzzsaw back in 2012 could not increase its own strength. So a lot of people were playing Yogg, which was in and out of popularity based on the meta, but this is a bigger thing later, is that there just wasn't any way to raise the strength of Yogg. So the way that you played Yogg was lowering the strength of Code Gates. And there just functionally wasn't a way to lower the strength of this Code Gate because of the text on the card. So Lotus Field was interesting. As much as 5 credits for an end the run is awful. Eli 2 being a moody teen is so cute and charming. It really is. When you're clicking through him, you're spending quality time together. Yeah, no, that's the idea with all the Biroids, if you're not aware of the flavor, is that you're reasoning with them. You find these constructs, these people, whatever you want to call them, in cyberspace, and you're talking to them, which is great. Quandary, ahead of its time. Gear check. Toll booth, always good, always taxing, pretty great. Parasite admin was also popular. Yeah, that's hold up against all that sort of parasite stuff. Take that, Cipher. And then our sentries were really good. Komainu was really taxing. Right now, this would still be very, very good. It's Saisentan, but it doesn't kill you. Thanks, Saisentan. Pup, we talked about just being very, very good as just something that's close to tight and was annoying enough. Gave the corporation or runner choices, but none of them were good. And then Tsurugi is such a cool card. I think the closest thing we have to this is Karuna, which there's a choice given as much as the choice is for the corporation. So the corporation can choose to pay 1 to let the runner end the run, or sorry, this has always got me, end the run unless the corp pays 1. So if the corp paid 1, then you're allowed to go through and take the net damage. And you didn't know what they would do until you broke all subroutines, which is like a really fun design. I know I've been working on some like ice and my fan-made set that allows people to make decisions like a subroutine fires, that's bad for you. And then there's a decision you may jack out. And then after that's another bad subroutine. So you can decide whether you've had enough or not. The Karuna effect is really nice. So me procrastinating with AGG is me spending clicks. Exactly. Yeah. You're still playing Lotus Field? I haven't seen Lotus Field hit a table in many, many, many moons. Yeah, Lotus Field is technically still legal. Tsurugi was really cool. Tsurugi was just taxing. Mind you, sentries were just taxing back in the day. Arguably right now, sentries are still pretty taxing. As much as Carmen for functionally 4 is not bad at all. It's really, really not bad. This is a funny anti-Banhart card. Yeah, it's a really good anti-Banhart card. As much as Komainu is probably the best anti-Banhart card you could ever ask for. So we can largely rebuild this. We have a lot of direct replacements. The problem is the agenda suite falls apart because we don't have a really good defensive 5-3, but we can largely replace this. And I'll show you where I got. And already I know there's things that we can change to make this work better for us. So firstly, I thought we would play Atea, but we're going to play Egg Infusion. It's a better ability. It allows us to spend more clicks from them. We have 17 influence. It allows us to trash our own ice. That's okay. We'll start there as a minimum. Back to system 2019 we'll go. Our agenda suite, we're doing what we want to do. Nisei Mark II, 3 of. We have a single longevity serum because we care about that recursion. And then we have 3 Offworld Office because I don't think there's anything else we can do that makes any sense here. This is going to be way better tempo. And the problem with this damn agenda, it's going to want us to score it. And we're going to say no. We're going to be like, what turn is it? Turn 5? What are you kidding me? No, put it back. Put it back into your deck with Spin Doctor. You're not scoring it. This is going to be a problem for us. I don't think there's a better agenda for us to put in the deck, but it's unfortunate. That's how it is. And then we have 2 Fuji, which like, it's not future perfect. And I don't know what we could play here. There's no 5/3s that's defensive, and the text on this is not very relevant. But the big problem is, if you look at this deck, and this is actually something that's like maybe not obvious for players, the most important thing with RP is ice placement. Because the runner cannot run the remote server until they run a central server. They don't have to make a successful run, they just have to run it. Which means they have to hit the ice. If you have the ice res, they have to encounter it. While this deck has mostly in the runs, you went out of your way to make sure the outermost on every central was spiky. Things like Kumainu, things like Tsurugi, things like Pup, things like Crick also showed up. Because you don't want to have an Eli on the outermost. Because then they just run HQ and they bounce off the Eli and then they run the remote server. It's still a genuine tax. But that's actually a really important thing when it comes to the ice placement of this deck, is you want to have your end the runs on the inside. On the outside, you want teeth. And that's super important that the deck has a mixture of teeth and damage, which right now, the problem with Jinteki is we mostly have teeth and we don't have functional end the runs that make sense for the money you res for them. You might play Bacterial. Yeah, Bacterial actually makes probably a lot more sense. Isn't Simulation Reset better than Sprint here? This was my last Panic influence. I like it because it allows us to like cycle our hand, but we have more control over it. I feel like every time I play Simulation Reset, I lose the game. Because I draw real bad. And they're like, I'm running HQ, something weird happened. And they're usually correct. Splash Bologna. Which at least gets you the piece you need to fix your defenses. Yeah, I think you're right, Izzy. I think that's a really good call. You probably play Bacterial and you could play Flower Sermon. The thing is, like, we have no synergy with Flower Sermon. It feels like Dirt will do nothing. Right? Like, this is technically a tempo card and we're anti-tempo deck. So I don't know. Could play Yagi Uda, so it's harder to know when you're pushing for a score. I do think advancing agendas is like technically important for this deck, because that deck back in the day had nothing that advanced besides agendas, and that like was a big deal. Is the runner knew, oh, it's all advance. That's the 5/3, right? Like that's for better or for worse what we're trying to recapture. So I don't know if I want to do never advance. I want sync rerouting and front company to work, but I can't find a good shell for it. Yeah, Colin, there's probably some cool ways to do it. NEH Bladderwort maybe. Yeah, I think you need like. I would probably do an op sooner than anything, unfortunately. Andre, I have a CO coming up. What should I absolutely not play because the meta will eat me alive? Oh, probably this. We're playing RP 2014, John. It'd be pretty cool. You'll like it, actually. You're a big RP fan. Also, some YouTuber might show up on the CO. How do I not lose him? He doesn't know what he's doing. He has no idea what to do at the CO. He's worried he's going to get neurospiked. It's going to be fine. All right, please suggest anything. The deck for the 4/3, we do not play the 4/3. The 4/3 suggests tempo. The 4/3 is a bad Netrunner card, not the way it does, but it shouldn't exist. And it's suggesting that we want to score out. And I don't want to do that. I want to do install advance. And the runners are going to know they have to go through an Eli 1.0. Well, we're not playing Eli. And it has to deal with their stuff. But let me talk about all the other stuff that we played and didn't play, and then to see what we can do to make this as accurate and as bad as it would have been 10 years ago, or it's now. Assets. We're playing 2 copies of Front Company. We're not icing it because it's not good if you don't ice it, and it's just not going to be, it's going to be an annoying click tax for the runner to make us play RP. It's a real struggle to make this card feel good. I think you need something like Sundew. Play Lacosta. I feel like as soon as we're playing Lacosta, we're playing like fundamentally a different deck. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we want to jam in a remote server every turn because of Lacosta. We want to put the Maryland in the remote server and we want to wait. We want to just control agendas. Like we're doing bad old Netrunner, right? So we have Front Company, we have Maryland. This is our Sundew. It lasts only 4 turns, but then it goes back into the deck. That's generally pretty cool. I think 4 turns is what you'd expect from Sundew before you got tired of it. So maybe. MC Austerity, you're thinking about jamming. You're thinking about closing the game using technology from 2018. We're trying to play Ice in 2014. Do you splash Judge Work as your campaign? As Whiteblade calls it, the working person's regolith. I think we'll try this. I think Judge Work is like 2 influence, right? Yeah. Surprise blow in the water? We have no way to capitalize on it. I don't know. Your ice isn't good enough to do this? Yes. Our ice is not good enough to do this. And that's a really big deal. when you look at like the world's winning deck, you look at Mess and Chessful, you look at Pharaohs, you look at 7 strength Treatline, the ice is good enough to do this. Winchester, right? Unfortunately, our ice is just not good enough to do this. And that's going to be an issue. I'm still going to stick to it and we're going to try it, but I have very little faith in this deck because I think eventually we will be run over. But I just want to show you a lot of the play patterns of how different the game possibly was in the last 10 years to now. And it's just kind of funny that like the list that Sokka is playing has a lot of play patterns that are very identical. If you played back in the day, if you played RP, you were like, that's how I played. I used my spin doctors. They were valuable resources to bury my agendas. While I put ice in front of everything, I built my remote server with 3 ice and a defensive upgrade, and on turn 10 I pushed, and the agenda was not tempo positive. Like it's like a 10-year-old strategy. And that's not to undersell Sokka. It was a great idea. He plays it fantastically. It's just very interesting that without all the, you know, the opposite to all the jammy Netrunner everyone's tech for is like old school, but they obviously have good ice there. Eli's still legal. Yeah, but how good is Eli right now? Like, I feel like we should just play the biggest Eli ever known. Like, this is the best ice in the deck. TPR instead of Offworld? TPR is pretty bad. It's really bad in this deck. Why are you doing this yourself? Are you okay? Cror, it seems fun. It seems fun. I'm having a good time. I'm playing Celebrity Gift. I'm playing Celebrity Gift 2023. And I'm going to have a good time showing them my agendas. I feel like you don't usually build decks that come with play restrictions. Yeah, no, I usually don't. I usually try and play something and try and win the game. But here we're going to stick to something. I'm playing Celebrity Gift. You know it's messed up. I have NGO front. This is the wildest new technology we have. And that's because I don't know how we get enough money in the deck. I felt like there's nothing really akin to Mental Health Clinic. I feel like right now there's too many decks that are tech to deal with assets. Where like just putting down a Bladderwort for like 1 credit a turn, they'll just hit it with this Hannah. Like they're just gonna Hannah it. Like I don't feel like we do get good value from it. So that's not good. But I guess we play NGO front. I don't know. What we can mimic, we have a sprint for 1 influence. We'll get back to that. I don't need to do this. Is that we do have 3 Adrian Sights, which is Caprice Nice. This card's really good, specifically very good on top of Managarm. I haven't seen a lot of people play both of these, but the idea now that if they trash Adrian, they're not trashing the Managarm, so it'll fire twice, genuinely pretty good. And we're going to remember not to try and score out. I wish we had a card like Interns. The only option is, unfortunately, Sanjay mentioned Kakarenbo, which not going to play that, I don't think. But yeah, that's good. I tried this in Hyobu, but that seemed pointless. Oh no, you can tempted to score off of play mandatory seed replacement or viral weaponization. I think viral weaponization is actually probably better. F it. Yeah, let's play viral weaponization. I think that card is better than the amount of play it sees, and this will not make us want to score it out. Adrian's actually Caprice and Ash in 1 card. It's worse than either. And worse than I think Adrian's really good. I think Jinteki's not great. I think Adrian's good. What's the win con? Scoring in a remote server on turn 20. You played in 2014, John. You know how it is. Barriers. We have Tattoo Bolo, literally the best barrier we have in faction. And then we have 2 Bronze. Bronze ability, mind you, is really good with Ag Infusion in general. Swap Sace for Anoetic. I don't think we can afford Anoetic, but I think Sace is good enough. I think Sace has side game on it, and that's important. I don't think we can afford Anoetic, I'll be honest. Mirage to waste their clicks. Old RP always seemed like a deck that was the goal. I don't know. Mirage is like kind of expensive. I'm worried we don't have money. Like that's very important. It's like Miraju does, it's like not, yeah, I don't know. It's a neat card. It actually was a meta choice. Kogates kind of suck. Vampy, it's good. It's a good card, but like none of this cares about Glacier. This is incentivizing you to play faster because those are tempo subroutines. Teeny only matters if we care about damage, which like we don't. Hopefully you don't tell them that, but we don't really. It's nice to have a mean ice so that like RP gets a bit interesting. Then we have a single thimble rig because, okay, I guess. Konjin's an irritating card that says side game. Yeah, Konjin seems like a card that would exist in that deck back in the day. That's a good choice. And then we have 3 Anansi, which we'll never afford, but hey, that's not going to stop us. And then we have 2 Karuna. I think we should play Saisentan just because Saisentan is closer to Komainu back in the day. Also, I don't know if y'all know this, but this is really fun flavor. The art of Komainu, or more specifically, I think the art on Pup, if I'm not mistaken, is Liga's cat. This is one of Liga's pets modeled for the pup, and I think for the Komainu as well, at least the pup. Citation obviously needed here. H-Bomber guy, get off my back. But yeah. -1 Maryland, Hasty, +1 Sprint, +1 Vovo, +1 Simulation Reset. I worry that Vovo is going to be too slow, and we don't have enough targets for Vovo that it's that good. Simulation Reset makes sense, yeah. Saisentan is definitely worth an include. Karuna's, for what it's worth, is a more taxing ice for a lot of breakers. Like, this is what? 4 credits with I think Corona is a bit less good than it looks because it is relatively annoying when it comes to some of the more common killers. Like what's it called? Struggles into this. Carmen struggles into this. I'd ironically love a source for that pup story. Yeah, somebody probably knows. It's like it's Tsurugi. Yeah, this is Tsurugi. This is the closest to Tsurugi. 18 ice, not enough bow targets. Yeah, but the problem is like once we get to the mid game and we have most of our ice res because we're running centrals because we're doing nothing, we legitimately don't have a good Vovo target. You know what I mean? Plans to score on turn 20. Yeah, but like they're gonna hit us on centrals, and then like what are we gonna do with the Vovo? How much influence is Vovo? 2? Okay, M.I.C. That's a good include. I like that a lot actually. That's a really good idea. How do we make that make sense? Hold on. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, the boy is back in town. The boy. Get to the mid game. Yeah, I know. Build a glacier with Bloom. Bloom is the swap too or install? There's some really bad tech guys. You may install a piece of ice from HQ. Yeah, and then they run HQ and we only have agendas in it. Oh, the boy is back in town. Okay, we have to cut the sprint now. M.I.C. being 2 influence seems wild. Yeah, it seems pretty cool. Genuinely seems pretty cool. That's actually like an annoying thing to throw people into with Ag Infusion. Like legitimately an annoying thing to throw people into Ag Infusion. Get out of here, Atini. Bloom is just crick, easy peasy. You gotta squint really hard. You have to put +6. You have to put +3 strength on this. Like I was considering that card that is a faction staple. I don't even know the name of because the faction staple too hard. A Bladed Berry could get you that interns effect you wanted. Oh, that's actually really cool. I just don't see how it'll fit in this deck. And then like threat 3 kind of sucks with our agenda suite. Let's just hope that longevity serum is the interns we want. Oh no. Is there literally nothing that will install cards from archives like besides restore and then Kakarembo? A Bladed Berry is not 2015 ice. Yeah, ice did not have that technology in 2015. But like this card's 3 influence and like hopefully rightfully so. This card is potentially poisonous. You can remove agendas from the game, by the way. Nobody does that. Thank you. Let's try this. I added one. I wasn't meant to. Okay, final call. Is there anything we're missing? Feel free to repeat something if I missed it in chat. Don't feel like you're being annoying. This is the deck that's ideally not hitting threat 3 until it's set up. This deck is doing nothing until it's set up. This deck is ideally not till it's set up. Oh, it's gonna be fun. Yeah. If someone breaks Eli for 3 credits with Cleaver, I'm gonna feel pretty good about it. You have enough code gates that Ivik could be good. The question with Ivik is how much do you have to res an Ivik for? Okay, the problem also with our code gates is like we cannot afford to res most of these. So while we own a lot of code gates, we will functionally res 1 code gate. I do think there's a world where you can consider playing Ivik, but like you'd have to be running like a bunch of diviners, a bunch of cheap shit. But we're not. Like a lot of times too, Ag Infusion's weird because runners aren't aggressive for better or for worse. So you end up only with like, oh, there's an Atini res on R&D. I'm done running for a minute. We also have to remember that people are going to think that we're a punitive list and they're going to play weird because they think we're on punitive because we're playing bacteria programming. Not Again removes the gender from the game, even uses ace to remove a full playset. Yeah, I heard about that. That's not great. This is the deck where you need to play your runner game first and win because you're going to time. Yeah, you're going to time. It's okay. It's Jaina casual. You know how long it takes to me to play that 1 turn where I run R&D as a shaper? 20 minutes. I hope I'm not rude. Oh, man. We can probably score viral sometimes since the runner's playing around punitive. Yeah, I think like there's some advantages to it. I do think the runner might like tank up, like really just absolutely tank up. And that's good that we have like 5 defensive upgrades. That's kind of cool. But yeah, we're going to try as much as possible to play Netrunner like it's 2015. 2014. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Jinteki. Also, like, does anybody think Atea would be better? Because I don't. I don't think Atea actually makes a lot of sense with this list. Kindly ask the runner to ignite your tithes. Free Ivik. I thought you were doing a pat pun, but yeah. Yeah. I guess so. Yeah, we also didn't mention Tithe. I think Tithe could make sense in the list. I don't know if Tithe makes more sense. Tithe might make more sense than some of the code gates. Imagine this if Kakugo was still legal. This would not be a good home for Kakugo. Right? Like, we honestly don't care about damage. We don't. Let's go. I swear to God, if someone queues in with, like, turbine shit, I'm gonna... lose slowly while I'm simmering. Absolutely just simmering through the whole evening. Hey, Eric, how's it going? Hello, Thursday, folks. Hopefully you're doing well. We've stepped into a time machine to visit a world where replicating perfection was an ID you could play. It had less influence. But admittedly, it had a bit more inevitability in it. And it's weird how important the interns actually probably is. This is what I'm going to bring on Saturday, John. Don't worry. We have 48 hours to master this. It's like 36 hours. I think there's going to be a lot of people on Saturday. I'm pretty stoked. I've been training with my partner, teaching her to play some fundamental stacks, which is good. She hasn't played in a while. She's pretty stressed sometimes to come to events and not know what she's doing, so she appreciates the practice. We're playing open-handed too, which is kind of cool, which is not something I think she thought she would enjoy, but it turns out it's quite fun to play open-handed. 11 games tonight. I guess people are watching that video game thing. Have they announced Hades 2 yet? Or like Hades 2 release date? Did they do that yet? That can't possibly be correct. Did Jeff Keighley say Hades 2 aloud? Open-handed is a low-key great way to learn a game. So many people need to play open-handed that don't. And wait, that sounds like disparaging. I just mean more people should play open-handed. Not a lot of people do. Janet's quiet because we're watching this. All right, Sable, sick matchup. Ice up all centrals with our one copy of Sadaka. It's okay. This is fine. Announced Jordan Peele is doing a horror game with Kojima. Yo, that's actually really cool, Andrew. Hey, thanks, GG. That's actually really sick. I'm not the biggest Kojima fan, but Jordan Peele doing more horror stuff is always great. Click one celebrity, you know it. You know it. Behind a Karuna. You think they're going to take 4 net damage to snipe that single? Oh, so good. Okay, this is what you did. You had one agented hand, and it was a bad one. And then you did celebrity gifts. You showed the hand. All right, and we just put them on HQ so they have full information on everything we have. Back then, celebrity gift was secretly a really good card because there's no note taking. Everybody heard what you said. You put the card on the table and then immediately forgot about it because they were too busy thinking about Survivor or whatever was important back in 2014. I don't think I got a good reference there. Avatar 1. Everyone was hot on Avatar 1. HQ mark, Amakua. You need 3 strength. Fair bit better than Saisantan. We also have Noma Virus. I was trying to think how to get that into the deck. It probably should be in the deck. Survivor is still good. I've never seen it. Could have already had extra credit with Yoru. Yeah, I guess so. We could have seen what was in their hand too. All right, we just got to ice up everything. Oh, Eli also really good into Amakua. So while we might here have the the 2023 Andre would be like, I'm gonna put the Maryland behind the Eli, or like I'm gonna do anything that's, you know, tempo positive. I'm just gonna put this on R&D and I'm gonna click for 2 credits. And we're gonna let the game carry us at the speed the game delivers us cards. And that's the problem with Spin Doctor is like Spin Doctor encourages you to play the game quickly. And it encourages you to push the game forward. We're not gonna play Spin Doctor. We will eventually, but like we're not gonna be like, let's see 2 new cards on this turn. No. Once we flood, then we'll start using Spin Doctor. They're too busy with the ice bucket challenges. Thank you, Eric. That's much better. How do you exactly? What do you mean 2 cards? I have to worry about this guy and cards? Flip switch, good. Safety first. HQ double mark, sick. Karuna on 3. They don't know what this is. They do know this is an Eli, actually. But we are going to be annoying to say, but we need to get another ice here, mind you. Account siphon, or diversion of funds back in 2014 was pretty messed up. So you did have to play around that. I wonder if you could cut the spin docs and find influencers and dredge works. Izzy was mentioning it. I don't love it because we can't really ice it up that well. It's funny though. You thinking what I'm thinking? We probably shouldn't leave archives open. Look at us. But imagine every single of our ice was like a really good Wayland ice. And we're basically, you know, on track. Archives are looking pretty exposed. Stream delay, huh? What are they doing? How are they going to get accesses now? They don't know what this could be. It could be a We have to remember we're ag confusion. That's actually legitimately going to be a problem as much as we're goofing around. Is I'm going to forget that we are ag confusion, and I do need you to remind me when it's relevant. This is in the bag. Genuinely, actually pretty reasonable. Like, the worst thing we could do is go fast. Next turn, purge the Yamakuo for the slowest never in game possible. They played a bankroll. Oh, imagine that was a Karuna, 2 damage. I don't think we'll purge just yet unless we draw a real stinker hand. Like, we want to get Maryland behind an ice, let's be honest. Like, you did have to get your Sundew up sooner than later. Mind you, they still know our whole hand. Oh, sorry, it's a Sundew. I should res it now. I almost wanted to res it because Sundew you have to res at the end of your turn. They check out? Wait, what do you mean? Boomerang HQ? Let's go. Oh, let's go. So here you can always like let this. Oh, with flip switch they jack out. No, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, right. I think we're okay here making them pay 5 credits for this Maryland. Stranding the boomerang though on the Atini is like kind of fine. We're not going to use the server for a while, and then the boomerang doesn't go anywhere. All our ice is like really weak to boomerang. I don't think we res this. I think we're okay with them paying. But eventually they can farm Amaku off this. That's a problem. I guess we will res it. It also gives us an ag infusion ability. Because now they can't really run HQ because if they like, we just throw them into Atini, and that's probably not good for them. Not implemented yet. I didn't read that. That's sick. So they'll pay 2 here, I reckon. You don't generally want to take damage. Okay. Just Maryland. And they thought that was, you know, obviously a Rashida because that's what you put out on the table on turn 5 when we're playing really slow. We could consider resing it. I don't think we should. Oh, wow. We kept it. They wanted the Amakua. So now we just res Maryland and purge. Carmen's down. They break Karuna for 4. Okay, now we don't purge. We ice HQ and we purge next turn. Genuinely, we're cooking. We're doing okay here. We are playing the way that they've been rolling only HQ marks. We've been playing the way that we want to play into Sable. And now we just sit with our Sundew. We purge. We love to have an ice in hand so the Tattoo Bowl, we actually can do something with it. But they'll force us to res a Vampire Nasa and jack out. That's like a bit of a bummer, but that's okay. We'll be fine. This is slow, thoughtful play, exact opposite how I play, but that's not your fault. That's how like Netrunner now is designed. You're meant to go fast. You're meant to like do something. Like you're meant to res your Spin Doctor and stuff. We're just getting the ice down, understanding that their entire economy is run based. And if they can make any runs that make sense, we're fine. We're on 11. If they run, we res the Vampire Nasa for 7. We're down to 4. We can res the Tattoo Bull. We can res. I'm just going to purge. Those 2 other centrals are looking a bit exposed. No, they're fine. If they want to spend their whole turn clicking through an Eli, it's fine for us. Admittedly, if they have an R&D mark, clicking through Eli is not that expensive, but like we're not in a rush here. We don't want to draw. It's my fault. I love fast. I do too. I play really fast. I arguably play too fast. I know a lot of times when I play in person, yeah, now we have to res. We could have thrown them into the Teeny. It would open up archives. I'd argue we don't want to do that. Oh, there was sarcasm. Excuse me. It's hard. It's text chat. You have to understand. It's very hard sometimes to read sarcasm. If we res the Vampire Nasa, they jack out. I think we'd rather res the Karuna and have them pay 4. I don't think we would want to res the Vampire Nasa and pay 7 and have them jack out. Here we could consider throwing them in the Intini actually on the Vampire Nasa. Then they would jack out anyways. Yeah, the flip switch is really good into our ability. I don't think they have more than 1. But Karuna is very annoying for Carmen. It's 4 credits for a nice we res for 4 credits. Boop him? I don't think we want to boop him just yet. Like the boop is really nice because we're expecting diversions and the diversion boop is really good. This is an annoying run. Like it's not their mark. They pay 3 credits. They can access. Immediately they hit the longevity. It's whatever. If they trash the Sice or the Managarm, I think they'd be happy, but they can't trash the Managarm if they pay through this. And that bankrupts them, barring the bankroll. Like, I wonder if there's going to be one of the rare take Karuna 2 and walk away. It's sometimes really hard. You hate this. Oh, you got choices. Thought you enjoyed the choices. Hope I don't look like a shithead. Wow, they did it. Nice. They know 3. Oh, wow, they hit the 1 they can't trash. That is unlucky. They got an Amaku counter, though, which means the Tattoo Bowl is not long for this world. But they might be threatened. They don't want to give us 4 cards another ice, but we don't have an ice yet. We have a lot of ice in the deck. We have 18 ice. Second flip switch. Oh, that's really good. Like, I don't know what we do here. We could consider drawing once because getting the Mana Garm in the remote server is fine. Okay, that's our next play. We just chill. They need to figure out how to make accesses work for them. Because currently with this Ice Suite, it's only the Tattoo Bullet that doesn't work for them. Arguably, we could have gone for the Spin Doctor there. I'm trying to slow down. But we could have gone for the Spin Doctor because having another ice in hand for the Tattoo Bullet makes a fair bit of sense. But I don't know. Yeah, look, this is how slow everyone's going. And hopefully next turn they go through an Athene and play a Mana Garm to see a Maryland. Could we have pushed out the Longevity? Maybe, with the second ice, yeah. As soon as we ice this up, though, we turn off our Ag Infusion in a very reasonable way. We'll shuffle that back for sure. Nice. We're going to keep that in hand for the Tattoo Bolo. And I think we're going to go from here. Like, we're just going to coast. We're just going to coast. How much ice is in Sokka's list from Worlds? 18. Okay, not that different. But it has fewer agendas, so it has more slots for like bad stuff for the runner. Already used the mark. You could consider clicking through the Eli. It's not that bad when you get a click back and a bankroll. Yeah, you can make that work for you. We need to deal with this sooner than later. Ideally, we get something massive here on a server 1, like the Brawn would be good. But like the Eli's doing well. If they Kura Pure through this, it's 5 credits. Like paying 5 credits for Kura Pure is kind of wild. That's better than Corroder. Somehow this has me imagining the Susano Crick Restoring Humanity Eternal decks. Yeah. Shake my heads of 49 cards in Sokka's deck. It kind of makes sense, right? Like, you want to play all the 3-pointers, but then Above the Law is worth playing 4 more cards. Above the Law is so good in the modern meta for so many reasons. I never would have thought earlier, yeah, right? How bad is this deck? Is it good? Is it okay? I think we found like an ideal matchup. Like run-based economy is exactly what we wanted to put an Eli in front of. And now, like, maybe they think this is Rashida. Maybe they think this is a push. They know we have a longevity. And again, we could have pushed the longevity. We probably want a second ice. Bravado? Where are we going? Just Bravado for 3 credits. Let's go. That is, again, run-based economy. That's why 2-time champ and I'm still singing It's Not Easy Being Green. Ooh, throughout the class act. You think what I'm thinking? Oh, you must be thinking what I'm thinking. Unfortunately, we have to res this thing. Like our turn was nothing. We click for cards and put a front company down. Literally nothing. Now, if they want to deal with this, it gets them a bankroll and it costs them 1 card. Like, this is not good. Arguably, you can ice this up once Archives is worth something. But this might not have been right now because forcing him to run the server doesn't really matter. Like running server 1. I'd argue this was bad. Because this has no actual implications on the next, like, 3 turns of the game. But we did find a reasonable Sundew replacement. You just buff the runner? I wouldn't say buffed, because they can't run Archives now. But they found their R&D mark. Going for a single here, there's still like 8 agendas and 35. This is reasonable for them. They can charge Bankroll and Amakura for free? Yeah, that was really bad. We have to put the Spin Doctor on top of it. It's okay. We got it down so that we can destroy it. Yeah, we shouldn't have done that. They clicked through it. Okay. This stops them farming Archives. Admittedly, they farm Archives once, so we get a Vampire Nasa there, and then we're fine. But, like, they should bounce off of this. Sure gamble? Oh, they didn't. They might now. Yeah, now they do. If they trash it, that'd be pretty... Okay, well... I thought that would be worse for us. Oh, we have a Brawn. We're just out here, putting our ice down. It's good to have the mean ice on the outside. Literally, Ag Infusion something into a Brawn is really good, because getting the ice here, as much as we don't have Brawn ice... Oh, shit. We should have drawn first. I don't want to do that because we need that for Tattoo Bola. I'll just do credit. If they want to double click through R&D, I think it's fine for us. We'll just hand wave that away. We might push the longevity, which is unfortunate because it's tempo positive. Yeah, I want to keep an ice in hand for the Tattoo Bola. Once they find out the Tattoo Bola is a weak server, we're going to have issues because we don't have a virus. But like we could score the longevity. We could. Braun into Tini seems pretty tight. Longevity's not tempo positive. It's not if we trash your whole hand. I guess we'll have to. I know it's not in general, but yeah, I guess we trash your whole hand. Like, it's Kurapira. They have to break Eli for 5. Oh, this is fine. This is exactly why we not keeping that would have been a huge punish. Okay, so now Tattoo Bolas are a huge liability. So we'll swap that. Great. Amaku is at 3. We purge this turn. We discard the Tattoo Bola, which is now dead to us. It is just strictly dead to us. And unfortunately, we undid our Ag Infusion. Our next thing we want to do is Ice on R&D. And this is exactly like, you know, playing the... we just try and lock them out. And they will eventually... Like, they're halfway through their deck, and this is, you know, the forward momentum. You don't want to farm double Tattoo Bola? Nah, it farms the Kurapira, and then the Kurapira deals with Braun and Eli too well. Like, we need them to pay 5 for Eli. We need them to pay, like, what is it? 8 for the Braun or something? And this is frustrating. When the Corp doesn't draw, like, the Genesis are just here. Tattoo Bola is Ag Fuel. Oh, yeah, we can install it face down. We're just not going to res it. For sure, we can install it face down. We just can't res it. It's a liability. Ideally, our ice being rezzed on the outermost is not good. Oh, that's a bit scary, potentially. Never mind. We have an M.I.C. So they could consider running HQ here. Funny enough, we don't want the Vampire Nasa to fire. Holy shit. What's going on here? I think we have to put the M.I.C. on R&D and click regards. If they run HQ here, we get the Bumper Nasa to fire. This is gross on the outermost, but like next turn we push. We could have pushed here. We obviously could have pushed here. We haven't seen an inside job. We saw 1 boomerang so far. But this is exactly what we expected. It's turn 11 and we're considering pushing out an agenda. We will do install longevity, install Adrian Sice advance. It's 2014, y'all. Feels okay. Feels good. You make a lot of like very important small decisions. As opposed to like making plays. I don't think they're having the best time though. We've only hit double digits of turns. Of course, we can't score. I think we're getting there. We'll see now. If they make us spend too much money, they could jack out here with the flip switches. They have 2. Did Netrunner 2014 Netrunner play the 3-2? Some decks played the 1-3-2. The Philotic Entanglement. Nobody plays this 3-2, regardless of what year it is. So, but some of them did play the Philotic, just because it was like a never advance, right? So you couldn't tell if the winning agenda was in their mode server. Smart Jacko, yeah, you don't want to let this fire. You don't want to let us res this for 5 credits. But that being said, now anytime that they run, we can throw them at the Vampire Nas. Unfortunately, we don't have good ice for that. Like we want to get the Tattoo Bola in front of, I don't know, R&D, I guess, or the remote server. Oh, they popped their bankroll. Oh, Shibboleth. They got to run HQ here. Oh, it's a Vampire Nasa. What does it cost? It's still like 6 credits. Oh. I played it when I first started thinking longevity was good. Oh, it's okay. It does something. It's just like compared to the other 1 ifs per deck, it's like, it's a bit worse than those, isn't it? The other ones like are worth playing around. This one is just like, oh, okay. That's fine, I guess. It's just so wild because it came in the same set with Spin Doctor, which is like better. It's not unique and it's not an agenda. Well, it is unique in its own way. So now if they want to break it, they have to boost once. They have to break up to 4 subroutines. So it costs 6 credits to run archives. We've seen very little influence. Like this could be a deep dive deck. We've seen Nuka, and like that's obviously not great. We've seen Diesel too, noteworthy. Oh, they're boosting some parts of it. I think they'll let us get the card draw, which we're going to deny. We don't want card draw. We actually could consider playing Subliminal in the deck. I think Subliminal would be legitimately good in the deck because I don't think they can afford to run and we would want a free credit a turn. I think Subliminal would actually be really good. but we might have to slow down. We want to draw an NGO here. Oh, we can't draw? They can't lose too? Fire and Broken, so what is that? Gain 2, do 2. They lost a Dirty Laundry and a Deep Dive. Yeah, they just lost 5 influence. That can't feel good. It's hard to deep dive into Ag Infusion, though. This run does give them an Amakua. We purge next turn. Here they could run HQ, but they barely have money. Now we just purge. Shuffle back. Purge. I think we throw out the Tattoo Bola. Isn't this messed up? Like, run-based criminal trying to deal with this ice is really difficult. We need an NGO front or Celebrity Gift. I'll Celebrity Gift this hand, no problem. A Hedge Fund top deck would be nice. We're not playing Hansai. That's too modern. But this is tricky, and that's like where cards like Caddy Jones were really cool. It was a card that you could play that was not great in aggressive matchups, but it was good against this matchup, where every turn they had like the Cold War option, which was, you know, gain 2 credits. Getting all nostalgic. Yeah, it's turn 13. We're going to score out. You ready? I'll do the agenda last. This has been in hand for 12 turns. I wonder if they'll functionally reprint Caddy Jones. I think they tried to, right? With the car that sells cell phones, the van. The numbers on it are not that much worse. It's just slower. But I think I'm like really like Caddy Jones as a card that exists in the meta because it forces people to evaluate cards differently. I would have drawn 9 more points by now. Jeremy, the reason why is this is turn 13 and I have 32 cards left in R&D. We didn't play a Rashida. We didn't draw with Spin Doctor. We played no draw effects. Right? Like, this is really weird. Generally, most corporations are on 32 cards on turn 4. So while we didn't flood, that's true. We currently have drawn through, what is it? Actually, we've drawn through, okay, never mind. We've drawn through 17 cards. We've seen 1 agenda. No, this is weird. I'm so nostalgic for Caddy. I used to click for 20 credits all the time. Yeah, the amount of players who click Caddy for 6 though, right? Like that's a fun, it's fun when there's a card that exists that like you can play wrong. Smart Word Distributor. Yeah, that's the one. Hermes. Ah, that's new technology. That wasn't around in 2014. That's going to be annoying for us. Guess who's going to double advance the longevity serum? This is where we make decisions. Do we advance and do we Celebrity Gift the whole hand? If we Celebrity Gift the whole hand, we spend 2 clicks to make 5 credits. Let's go. 17 feels like enough. Leela was? Nah, Leela was 2015. Come on. Really? Advance event Celeb Gift next turn? Oh, she was 2014. Okay, never mind. Citation needed. The Caddy style banker cash in is such a feel good card style, which still exists. Yeah, it is really fun. It is really fun. The closest we have to it's Fermenter, I guess. Let's say that. And Fermenter does give you that Cold War. Hey, I've seen that text before. I'm editing through our Jeff and I did the recap. Yeah, tell me about it. This honestly, this flood has been fantastic, or this drought. We're gonna have a problem if they run RD. They'll see 2 agendas and they'll bounce with Hermes. But the M.I.C seems really good there. I meant that idea is just Hermes. No, I know 100%. But yeah, I had to pull that card up today just to be like, because we talked about Leela when we talked about Hermes. It's like, yeah, this is Leela, by the way, for those who don't know. A really cool character. I have this, by the way. I have this always. It's like next to my computer. It's a Kevin Tame did a bunch of these. This is an old Leela. I got this back at like Worlds 2018 from Kevin. I also have a Max and a what's it called? Haley Kaplan. Fermenter's probably closest, but the passive uptick feels cheap for me, I guess. Yeah, no, I hear you. Whoa. Fave Leela's Economic Warfare Leela altered? I'm not sure I know that one, John. John, did you see the Goose Game people announce their next game today? Where a horrible goose is jacking those credits, yeah. Fire all? If you insist. Lost Diversion, Miss Bones. How many cards do you want to draw? We're going to do advance. We'll draw 1. Nice. We'd rather jam that 100 times a year. I missed that. Yeah, they announced a new game. I'm not sure if it's the one I think it is, but if it is the one I think it is, it looks sick. If it's called the Big Walk, I think that's the right company. Yeah, if it's House, right? It looks really, really, really good. It looks weird. Yeah, Big Walk, thank you. That genuinely was a trailer. It's like the first time I think I saw a trailer, I was like, well, that's cool. It looks like unrecognizably cool. Now, it seems like they don't have any economy that's not run-based. Like, we haven't seen any daily casts. No fermenter, that's a bit rare and criminal now. But we just haven't seen anything from them, which, like, is unfortunate. Oh, we probably shouldn't have drawn. We have to discard anyways. I did my math wrong. Because we're going to be on 5, get bounced. We'll be on 6, get bounced, we have to repair. Yeah, that was not a good draw there. We had no reason to do that. Okay. I guess we'll res this to have it. You can longevity though. Oh yeah, you're right. We can longevity. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. It has text. So we have this res. This is a legitimately nice thing to throw people into. Like M.I.C. and Ag Confusion is kind of cool. Nobody breaks this well. That was a really good shout out. Score? Okay, so we're gonna push the M.I.C. next turn. Our money is now bad, but we've resed everything, so we've ascended beyond the need for money. Number of cards to trash in HQ. I don't think we're gonna use the Nuncy anytime soon. Now we can shuffle up to 3 back. So Celebrity Gift, Celebrity Gift. I'm not gonna do Front Company. I'll do the face down card, so they think we shuffled back an agenda. That'll make it more frustrating. They have a couple targets. We could have pre-res these, but they should bounce the ice. It costs us money. Yeah, and we'll just go ahead and put that ice back. Okay. This is the scariest card so far. I'm not super watching the stream, and we're really taking things slow. How have we lost? We put up ice. Like, this ice is actually really good into their breaker suite. Shibboleth on 3 struggles with 4 strength M.I.C. Vampire Nasa. Karuna on 3 struggles with Carmen. Kurapira at 4 breaks Eli for 5 credits, excuse me. A teeny, not the worst into Shibboleth. Eventually it'll be really bad once we hit that threat. We haven't lost because this is a really good matchup for us. If they don't have a way, like they haven't shown a twinning yet, but if they don't have a way to like run R&D and see more than a single card, this is very hard for them. Does this deck not have Thimble Rig? It has 1 Thimble Rig, Rakatha, which would be nice to move our ice around. I think we have 1 Thimble Rig. But I don't think we care that much. Like, if they run this and we don't res, we throw the Brawn into the M.I.C. And like the M.I.C. is a problem for so many reasons. More like the Crim Breaker said, yeah, if they had a Chesva, they can start to like get forward momentum, but I think they're on bankroll instead of Chesva. But like, they should just be clicking 4 because they technically have all they need to put pressure up. They just don't have money. And so I don't know, like, we don't know their deck, but clicking for 4 might be correct. I didn't realize they had a Calvin Hobbes avatar. That's pretty sick. Banning Begalter makes Crim feel so sad. Carmen's not the worst. I do really like Unity over Shibboleth, though, if you can play it. An Echelon over Carmen, especially if you have Amakua. Like, if you're playing Amakua as well as Breakers, you have a huge incentive to play the Shaper stuff. That's what you get for hoarding money instead of making coffee. I don't know who it was. I think it was my sister. If not, maybe Maddie was saying this. But when I think my sister found out there was a card called Chesva, she's like, how terribly are people saying that across the networking community? Like, is that, oh, this feels bad. Is that like the worst pronounced card? Like the most oftenly mispronounced card? We haven't seen Inside Job. They have to deal with the Chini, then they have to deal with Adrian Sites, and they have to deal with Managarm. Like, I think we can just do this. Imagine we drew an NGO front and they ran an NGO front. And then once we score this out, that's when you push your 5-3. That's how they played back in the day. You score your Nisei, and then you score your 5-3. Having a double Nisei with like the way Caprice used to work back in the day, yeah, now they're going to challenge it. That's okay. I do actually think we boomeranged them into the M.I.C. Could you speak a bit more to why running Amaku incentivizes you the Shaper Breakers? Yeah, Tyler, totally. Good question also. The Shaper Breakers, those ones from System Gateway, they all say like +1 strength, or they have their strength modified by the amount of icebreakers you play. So inherently, the fact that you're playing 4 icebreakers means that like your Echelon is base 4 strength, your Unity boosts 1 for 4. So it's a lot better for that reason. We're gonna Ag Infusion them. Otherwise, thinking, if they boomerang through this, they have to get through the Atini. They could take the net damage. We have Adrian Managarm. Trying to score it? Yeah, but what do we do with this hand? We have to score it, I think. I think this eats the boomerang too. Like, this is so good that we just Ag Infusion them. I think the M.I.C is worse than the Bumper Nasa. Losing their turn is more important than the silly tempo subroutines on this. Yeah. And then boomerang is stuck. Let the Brawn install an ice. We don't really have an incentive for. This is much stronger, I think. If they boomerang, you can put a Karuna down and hit, then boop there. Oh, yeah, but they could click through it. You're right. I see what you mean. I was assuming they would click through it, though. I think the play would be to click through it. Cool, thanks. I'm running M.I.C in my deck right now. Try on Shaper Breakers. Yeah, try it out, Tyler. The deck that Cable Carnage took second at Worlds is that's Breaker Suite, and I think it sings. Like, you have M.I.C, and then obviously people are playing Mavirus, so you don't want to rely on M.I.C. You use it for early pressure. And then in the back, like, once you have your Breaker Suite up, sometimes M.I.C will break things cheaper. Like, eventually M.I.C will be 4 strength, and that's how they break Eli. Like, it's really cool. Also, please ask questions anytime I don't answer anything. That's kind of the point. So now they have to break all of this, otherwise they can't run server 1. It's so cool. If they click, they get hit with the Managarm. Yeah, but they could take the net damage and maybe pay 5. You're right. That it was maybe an option here. But the cool thing here is that we're not super weak. We're not super weak to Hermes. Let's say that. Fire all. Oh my god, is the M.I.C cool. Yeah, click and cause Managarm problems. That might be right. I think they just tank this and pay 5 though for Managarm. Very new to the game and your streams have been very helpful. That's very nice to hear, Tyler. Genuinely. Oh, you wanna? Not at all. Oh, we forgot about that. We did forget they have a flip switch, as they did, unfortunately. Okay. Let's see if they come back. Res the upgrades? Yeah, we will before we score. They know this is a Managarm that they're tracking. Resing the Adrian is fine. We also forgot that we can move Adrian, but it hasn't mattered so far. Like, after we score and move Adrian, yeah, we'll res the upgrades when we score, that's for sure. All right. Let's have some fun. There's no way they're breaking this, right? What is the order here? When the runner makes a successful run on the server, so they play the Adrian first, and then they deal with the Managarm. This is going to be fun. This is a really cool server. Like, Adrian with other upgrades is where Adrian's really, really good. On his own, pretty good. Yeah, sorry, Charlie, I don't know if I finished the sentence, but I'm so stoked that, like, folks are getting into this game, and then this is a nice, easy way to help. Other way around? Touche, yes. Breach first, then. Okay. In theory, we can res here. We have to res both. But, like, take that, Hermes. So now they have to pay a click and 5 credits to play a Psy game. Yeah, it is Managarm first. So if we play at least 1 credit, this is 2014 where, like, Netrunner RNG here mattered. If we play, we don't want to play 0 credits, because if we play 0 credits, they have a chance of trashing Adrian. I think we play 2. Yeah, they paid 1. I almost paid 1. Sif pays 5. Sif pays 1. So now they can only trash Adrian, but because they paid 1, they can't trash Adrian. It might have been strictly correct for them to pay 0 there. It's Managarm first. Yeah, Rashida, I was totally wrong. And confidently wrong, too, which is worrisome. Yeah, we don't have money. We'll score this out and then just, like, discard a card, whatever. And then we'll move Adrian onto HQ. Oh, Maryland. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. That was the best top deck possible. Oh. And now they're Shibble the strength 1. Disgusting. Server 1. I think we will slide Adrian over to HQ. That's fun. That he does his thing. Turn 17. Stranded Boomerang. Kurapir with 1 counter. Amaku 2 strength. HQ is behind this into an Adrian. This deck is broken. Solve the meta. Breach last, but Managarm says approach, not breach. Okay, Cror. Actually, I meant to shout this out earlier, but during the last Null Signal Games station podcast, with Cephalopod talked about the whole like magnet into saucy thing, which I kind of berated him a bit in a YouTube comment, and he brought it up on the stream, which is really great. No run feels good when I'm poor again. Yeah. Sorry. GG. Yeah, this is definitely just trying to lock you out. It'll be hard, make it go to time. Yeah. Boomer RP is the new meta. It's gonna score at tier 20. Yeah. And like after we let the Marylands do for a while, we put back Triel and then they have to beat Nisei, Managar, Adrian. Yeah, hey, no worries at all. Like imagine Jinteki just gets 1 or 2 pieces of ice that are like reasonable. Right? Like all our good ice is out of faction in this deck. And we drew all of it. Me too. Wait, they have to concede. They can't just leave. Oh, they just left. Oh, that's not good. You want to hit the concede button or it messes up with your stats. How do we not mess up our stats? How do we make this deck look undefeated on JNet? How do we win? Do we just do like 0.7? Agenda points plus? Okay. Give yourself clicks and score. That didn't work. Okay, hold on. I'll let you in a little hack. That if things are not going good, all you do is you put a card in a new server and you do summon, big deal. And then you do credits, 18. And then you do, credit, 18. And then you can, this is a trick that like most TOs don't want you to know that you can do this. But if any tournament is not like going in your favor, just, I hope it's obvious at satire. Don't do that. I thought that was the easiest way to get out of that hole, though. This is legal, by the way. Yeah. Doctors don't want you to know that is totally legal at all tournament structures, particularly competitive. Let's run back. Literally don't have a piece of ice that is above 5 strength in faction. Is that true, Abbreviator? For what it's worth. No. Oh, above. Yeah, but like what faction does have an ice above 5 strength now? Like wraparound? I guess Hydra. Forbidden OTK. Declan, how's it going? Andre, you're gonna get people DQ'd? Yeah, I know. This is called I don't know. If you can't get around that sarcasm, you're gonna have a hard time with the tournament structure, let me tell you. Every other faction has 6+ strength ice. I don't know if that's the biggest thing though. Yeah, no way, no worries. I'll wait. That's Eric, mind you, Neon Static. Check it out. They've been doing good stuff. It's like, I don't know what HB ice is on 6 strength that you're playing. Okay, Brawn is really good. A tier is fun. And NBN Hydra is really good, but it's not that common. Wayland, the 6 strength ice only shows up when Sokka wins Worlds. And then, I don't know. It's just like you want subroutines that matter, right? Like Tattoo Bull is really good because it does something unique for the dang faction. Last time I said anything like on stream, PSK hijacked the commentator say, please do not do this, but you were during a stream, like you were during a tournament. Like Jai. Yeah, please, very obvious. Do not clip that. All right, Arsana, that could be a rough matchup. But we're just gonna celebrity gift this hand and sit back. Tattoo Bola. Arsana loves Tattoo Bola. Braun, Wayland, Sandstone. Oh, Sandstone's cool, but functionally it's a 5 strength ice, right? Plus others. NBN Hydra and Tollbooth at least does something against Turbine. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Regolith and Nico over Maryland if we're icing it. London, Regolith feels, it's weird. Regolith does feel like 2014-esque. Maryland has been really good, but you're right. Maybe we could save the influence. But like Regolith encourages us to do something quickly. Like imagine instead of that Maryland, we emptied a Regolith. Like then what's our next play? Score an agenda on turn 5? Come on. Oh, okay. So did you ever play Netrunner in 2014? Andre, you have a lot more influence than you might think you have. You probably more effect than commentary teams and competitive streams might do. I'm not going to be on a stream until people have to get DQ'd. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. But like, please don't summon big deal during your tournament. Okay. It's fast. Good luck, have fun. We drew in a back pro. I'm going to show the back pro. I don't care if they steal the back pro. If Eric steals a back pro, he has a back pro. So what ice can we possibly put on HQ that like Arisan doesn't deal with? Vampirnasa is the answer. Literally on a stream telling people to get DQ'd. I'm not gonna go on a stream telling people to get, I don't mean like a tournament stream. Like not on an NSG cast. It's gonna be like Continentals. And I'll be like summoned biotic labor. Facts. I'll do all my opponents in the bathroom and then spam the chat so they don't see the message. Yeah, exactly. You just copy paste the last thing. Oh god. Oh, you see? You see? He's going for it. He's going for it. Come on, it's the Tattoo Bola. Come find out. Ah shit, he went R&D. I blinked and I mixed it? Oh yeah, no, we won on turn 22 to concession. Getting DQ'd is cool. I want to go that far. Oh, we have Konjin in the deck. That's fun. Side games are fun. So I think we're gonna do, I think we're just gonna do double ice. Like I honestly, if the bacterial gets stolen, the game gets interesting. And there's a chance that, well, technically that's the cool thing about showing 4 ice with like a celebrity gift is that now you literally don't know what the ice is. How did the previous game end? Oh, the opponent conceded, but they left before the game was won. So we did /summon big deal credit 18, which apparently the judges were upset about and was not sporting. That's not actually true. They were totally fine with it. I just told people they could do that and they can't. It's like a rite of passage to get a game loss though. Yes, it is. It is. If you're worried about going to an event and getting a game loss, let me tell you, get that out of your way. Like, don't speed run a game loss, but like getting your first game loss, get it at a CO. I drew there and that actually felt really weird. Can you summon runner cards as the corporation? I don't think so, Rohit. Karuna over Saisantan, yes. The numbers are better when it comes to things like Carmen, which was really important for last match. It's only 1 credit better. But it feels more like Tsurugi, which is what we had in 2014, as much as we also had Kamainu. I like the Tsurugi choice. Clicking to draw was a bit, yeah, I'll be honest, it was not good form. Imagine Andre and Patrick hanging outside a tournament venue, smoking clove cigarettes and telling everyone who walks into that they DQ'd and being upset when no, they're cool. Oh man. Yeah, like DQs happen at Worlds. It sucks. It obviously sucks. There's a bunch of weird DQs and it's like, it's unfortunate, but like judging is really difficult. I just mean like at the end of the day, playing your whole Netrunner career and not getting DQ'd, it's gonna happen. I don't have anything smart to say. This hand makes us want to score out, but we don't want to score bacterial. Like I think we just ice up R&D and do nothing. Like how is he gonna conduit this? What did I miss? Patrick, we need to get clove cigarettes. I think they're illegal in Canada. I'm pretty sure they're illegal in Canada. Just in time for the last game. When it gone. Don't worry. It's going to be another hour. How's it going, by the way? If I get a 3rd game loss, NSG owes me a game win. Dude, did they give you a stamp card yet? Oh, man. That's heartbreaking. Sorry. I've been playing since day 1 in Netrunner. I see what you're going for. It's 2014 R2 with Priest and Mash. Exactly. It's exactly that. We are going to build a remote server. Arizona does struggle with M.I.C. We want M.I.C. on the outside, so we'll do the Tattoo Bowl on the inside. We just dirtled the night away, right? Am I doing this right? A lot of those cards don't make any sense in 2014, so I have no idea what you're doing. If we draw a Nisei, we might push for it. I would love a Maryland here, or a Sundu, sorry. All I know about clove cigarettes I learned is from my favorite Magnetic Fields song. They are a good smoke. Okay, that's the sort of stuff I don't want to say on stream. Some big deal's fine, but these are good cigarettes is not the line. I don't understand their approach. Ice timing window, I'm in 2014 right now. Okay, so there's this weird step after you pass all ice. It's not real, but it's actually important. Am I looking at a new spicy egg infusion list? Not again. When did you start playing Netrunner? Because that's going to make this make sense. Just imagine the janitor card, the inside job? No, inside man. It's just like a straight up gendered card as hard as it gets. Inside man. 1 year-ish? Oh, okay. This is what Netrunner looked like in 2014. Click for 3 credits was totally fine. I don't think we have a reason to ice archives against this deck. We could push the Managarm, like, it's fine. Oh, not like that, though. Actually, Archives Ice is reasonable against Pinhole. 2014 doctors thought smoking was good for you? Yeah, you used to go to the store and buy the health cigarettes. That's how we played RP so fast, is we had so many health cigarettes. Oh man, 2 current credits for installing hardware. Yeah, that was inside man. It costs 3 credits. It's I think I played it once. Hardware is a cool subtype. It's genuinely the coolest subtype of all Netrunner cards. Connections, half right off. 2014 Rage Comics walk so Wojak could run. I never got into Rage Comics, and I think it's fine. Get that good clean smoke in there. Jesus. Okay. You generally put defensive upgrade on top of your Sundew. I am scared about this. Like, this deck runs, and we're not doing like this is actually really good because we played into run-based criminal and absolutely stifled them. And this is like run-based shaper that has a way to generate economy that is way more efficient than our nonsense. So the only way we win is like Adrian Slice Manigarm. But I really like that we have this matchup here. Do you want to res the Maryland? I'm going to res the Maryland. Why? So he doesn't run it, but more importantly, it's Sundew. I'm doing Arasana so dirty? I guess so. Haley double install or something. I find it funny that shapers get to do above board jobs. Oh, like they go to work? Randall? I think it's cool. Criminals too, as is at the beginning to work. I guess they're not above board. The stream has been purged for all the horrible things Andre says. Just some a big deal. Health secrets. Yeah, I know. It's been bad. It's been really bad. Was 2014 Ash and Caprice, or is it something else? It was Ash and Caprice. Cransella, how's it going? That's exactly what we're doing. This is our Caprice, and then Ash is our Manigarm. I would be scared of this if I knew better. This is going to do nothing for us. This is the worst card in the deck. This is like very easy. Oh, Day Job. Yeah, Anarch had an above board job. You're right. This is strictly the worst card in the deck because it does nothing. I'm clicking for 3. It's not what we need to be doing versus what he's doing, but we're clicking 3 here. Yeah, Max had her day job at the vid store. It was, I read the book. It was like kind of like a Best Buy, I think. I don't think it was a video store. I think it was like a hard, what do you call Best Buy? Like an appliance store? White goods or something? What are they called? I think they're called white goods. Oh yeah, it's medium. Yeah, it's medium and corroder. Big box, yeah, big box store, electronic store, yeah. Yeah, she showed up in the books that I think Lee Alexander, what's her Lee's last name? Whatever. Lee wrote it. It's pretty good. Max was a character. Everyone likes Max. Bank job means you work at a bank. Yeah, exactly. All right, this Tattoo Bola, we could consider resing it. It will become a Konjin, which is genuinely going to get hushed. Fuck. There's a book about Max. Yeah, Faceless. It's I couldn't exactly tell you what it is mid this turn, but someone else can. It was the mid-seasons book. Lee Alexander. That is right. Okay, thank you, John. There was a bunch of FFG literature. Saw her talking Migs. Oh, super cool. Next up, what's Migs? All right, Tattoo Blow we res for 1 who gets some money off of it. Karuna is going to be interesting. He might have an option in hand. Ika deals with Karuna, I think, poorly. What card could Front Company be here? I think 1 Mavirus, 1 Subliminal is probably fair. If not 2 Mavirus is fine. But yeah, it's ass. It's really bad. I think we'll res it. It's fine. Montreal International Game Summit. Thank you. Micro-invasive glaucoma surgery. That's probably also correct. But Lee hasn't, I don't think. She wrote for Reigns. Oh yeah, she was one of the writers for Reigns. The sequel to Reigns, right? You put a Peachy Shaw on a Tattoo Bola? Eric, I don't... I don't know about that one. No, this is fine. This is fine. I won't roll out. I promise. Cool. Thank you. No, of course. I think it's called Mid-Seasons. I didn't know you were on Konjin. Yeah, this was a last minute addition. It will get hushed. That's not good. But he's going for the conduit dig here. We have a lot of agendas in R&D. Konjin's like Excalibur? Yeah, I guess so. There were some Grail, mind you, RP decks back in the day. We'll just still do that. It's fine. How does Arasana deal with Karuna? Like, the problem is R&D is not taxing enough. We made HQ taxing. He does know there's a bacterial in here. Gachapon hitting an SMC. It's a bit ugly. I guess he just pulls his breaker here. He has enough MU. We have a Sandstone, mind you, if we do want to do like also border control type stuff, but I feel like we're getting to a bigger card pool. You could just play border control, I guess. I'm really surprised there's not a card like an offer you can't refuse in the game. So SMC comes down. So if he's bringing out Echelon, Echelon will be 2 strength, which means you break this for 5. That's not good. If it's Ika, you have to install Ika, which costs you 2. You have to host Ika, which costs you 2. Then you have to break this as Echelon. So unfortunately, eventually Karina will be broken wall. But again, most entries will be. I like this. I think we're going to lose to Eric. I think we're going to lose slowly. But the fact is, this shows the difference between like what, you know, runners can do versus what they could do in 2014. Especially when it comes to like a runner that can deal with Big Ice, as Big Ice being the only threat. Because mind you, back in the day, we didn't have Turbine. We didn't have Slab Vandal. Like, we didn't have stuff like this. 5 for Karuna feels good for the one run. He didn't click Conduit. It's fine. Yeah, if we had him a virus here, we'd be pretty happy. We could consider putting Adrian on R&D, but I don't think it actually does anything because you still charge the Conduit. And then eventually Adrian goes down. Runs with the Corp Turn are weird rules-wise. Yeah, but they're fun. They're so cool. Like, it's not so much maybe I want to offer you can't refuse, but I want a card that, like, you know, you make the runner call your bluff. You basically say, I dare you that you won't do this. Which I guess we do have the one card that we played. Trying to think of cards coming next set. A new Trojan, probably another Mark Incentivizer, maybe a high strength ice for each faction. HQ? Yeah, I think those are fine. I don't know if we need high strength ice specifically. I think the game is not better with higher strength ice. I think new Trojans for sure. I think you're going to have more bypass or D-res support. Vampire Nasa will be annoying. Tattoo Bola, they're going to go through, and then we do tattoo swap, so like, why not? Our ice placement's pretty bad. Obviously, we'd want to have the end to run inside and the Vampy on the outside. We're not playing good Ag Confusion. We did click for 3 credits last turn. More bypass is dangerous? Potentially, yes. It's worth noting Inside Job will rotate at some point soon. Which makes some of the other bypass cards seem reasonable. But I do think you need Mercury more support. Like, you need some sort of breakers that work with Mercury. Not just Kurapira. Even stealth credits would be reasonable because then you can use the stealth sentry breaker, right? Right now, stealth is in a really awkward spot. And stealth technically is bypass with after image, which is kind of cool. I think I cracked it with after image. I think after image just seems like a cool card in Mercury. So now you can simul chip for SMC. You have enough MU. Cubon from hand. I wish on JNet Arasana like rotated 90 degrees when she did her once per turn, because it's hard to track whether that's a legal option or not. Fire all. Okay. I mean, yeah. Yeah, it was good. I'm like right on the cusp of it. What did he lose? Claude and Diza Mazid. Okay. We have one agenda. Tattoo Bola, sick. If not tap, maybe dim to show the ability used. Yeah, there's just something. Any card that's once per turn, I wish that JNet could tell you. Like if DZ, you know, if Telework rotated or faded, if DZ faded, if Arsana faded, any of these with 1 per turn triggers, I wish there was some denotation. Ah, shit, we have to score out. I think we do install, advance. I think we have to score out. We have a window here. Big ol' X on it? Yeah, make it goofy. I don't care. As long as it shows. Okay, I'm sorry. We're being pressured. It's nice that we have the Konjin to the Vampire Nasa. And they don't get cube on, I don't think. But we need to score at the Nisei Mark II or we're in a bad spot. We could have iced up more. Maybe we should have. Maybe this is a bit aggressive. It probably was wrong. I am actually really sorry. This is 2023 Andre playing. 2024 would have just put 2 more ice on there. Just been like, get through a Braun, get through an Eli. I don't care. So maybe he goes in with Cleaver. It's still really expensive until he gets another breaker down. Maybe he does with this. Okay, maybe we went too fast. It's okay. Nisei seems pretty good. Remote server seems reasonable. M.I.C. seems hard. Managar Magian seems good. Turn 9 push. Please don't remind me, Pouch. Stop, I know I'm messing up. Telework for 3? They spent a lot of money on that turn. He did. 2 ice installs with no econ draw off the top, though. Ah, this is a good run. Just kidding. We will res this to have an outermost. This card's so good. He has a Unity. Oh shit, he found it on the top. He also has a Turbine, which is gonna be annoying. He'll remove it from the game though. He only has so much MU to work with, right? 2014 Andre would not have drawn 2 from the Vampy. I think we needed to because our hand didn't have a play. Like, we could have drawn to a Celebrity Gift, right? Last click run to Mick rip. Yeah, we could rip it. Arguably we don't. I think Adrian Managarm is enough to be here. Like, we'd rather just go for the Adrian Managarm. If he gets through all this and Adrian Managarm, like, we're happy. And then we can use the Tattoo Bullet to put the Brawn on their Moat server. It's fine. He doesn't have to break all of those. There's only one subroutine there. You can save 2 credits, right? The Jaina, like the habit of just hitting Jaina break all is not good for you. And I get flack sometimes for doing it manually. People like there's a button. We've all been there. All right, I guess we just tattoo bullet them into archives, right? Okay, so this is the thing. We can res the tattoo bullet to gain 2 credits. We can hope the Managarm Adrian fires. They pay 5, and then they play a side game. Nah, F it. We're Ag Infusion. Introduce yourself to archives. This is okay. And we could just move Adrian over. Spending 2 credits to gain 2 credits sounds like value. Yeah, but then they get in. You don't want to be charging your moat server last click. 2014 Netrunner have just leaned on Managarm or Adrian. You're not wrong. Yeah, with Caprice, we definitely would have leaned on it, but you're not wrong. Here we're happy just to score it and throw out the front company. And then we might res Adrian and put it on HQ, I guess. No, I think we leave Adrian Managarm. I think they do work well. He has to discard 2 cards here. We know that the, what's it called, is coming up, the Turbine. And then we are turbo in a bad spot. So we kind of need to like start 20, like, well, let's get in the midpoint. We'll play 2019 Netrunner. Shit, someone gets CTM. Imagine Managarm, Adrian, Ash. Put a Caprice in there. Diesel deep dive, okay. Ah, our money. Get out of my game. God, Front Company is really bad in this deck specifically. Just because click taxing them on the remote server to make them run again, like there's so many ways to do it that make way more sense, including and not limited to our ID ability. Genuinely enjoyable deck though. Like that's the funniest thing. Genuinely enjoyable. What deck is Front Company good in? I can imagine Front Company being good in a deck that cares about spamming out a lot of different assets and then having this ability that forces the runner to run into central and deal with either spiky ice or like NBN tag ice before they have the time to deal with other damage based horizontal threats. That could be okay, whether it's in something like OP or whether it's in something like NEH. Arguably. This is really in 2015 now, right? This is 2014. We haven't been poisoned by Museum of History yet. Okay, so Brawn on R&D is genuinely going to be taxing forever. E-Line server 1 eventually will be 1 credits. We have to remember we have M.I.C, but we're not pushing out the Bacterial. We're going to try and get another one. So we'll do... We'll just do Tattoo Bolo. It's good enough, right? And then we'll do Maryland. And I'm going to res the Maryland. Just because we're going to play like it's Sundew and we have to pre-res this sucker. I also just don't want it to run it. Like, it's super weird. Sometimes showing them what it is, they'll be like, I'm not going to run it. Because sometimes they might run this because they think like, oh, that's a Maryland. Sorry, a Rashida. I can't let you have a Rashida. Give yourself agenda points. Like the summon. 2014 RP lists were genuinely therapeutic for me to play. Yeah. And they were kind of fun. Like, this is exactly it. Pressure HQ, right? Like, oh shit, we don't have money. Oh, I've overextended. I feel like we might not have wanted to res the Maryland. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Imagine you had the Tattoo Bolo there. Then you're telling them you badly need the Maryland? Yeah, but like they can't afford to break that. Maybe they can run last click. I don't know. Oh shit, he's gonna cube on all over my stuff. Oh, we've so grossly overextended into Arsana. We're gonna get punished for it hard. Adding agenda points works. The game only checks state after an action, so you have to click for credit or something. Oh, that makes sense. This is bad. The reason the Sundew res worked was you're guaranteed your money back. Yeah, I know, Cror. It also, like, legally you had to. So it was tempo negative, neutral, excuse me, on turn 1. Click 1. You installed it, you got your money back. It was really, really easy to play. The fact that he has another breaker means that Karuna is now less good than SI Senton. I honestly would be more worried about a Cubon than a Pichashaw. No ag on the Konjin? Yeah, but we can't really ag him into anything. If anything, now we ag him while the Pichashaw is on the run back. Oh, you shit, you're right though. We could have done it. Because he has to do it on approach, yeah. Yeah, I messed up. I should have done that sooner. I boop him over somebody to get him to lose that click and all that. Yeah. No, 100% we should have. He would have had a click fewer. That's on me. We're gonna live with that, but that was 100% right. Yeah, now he breaks it for free. Like, this is obviously pretty bad. Because we have to get the brown up before we can afford to purge. Yeah, I was bad. I was pretty bad. At least he used a simul chip on that, which means like eventually the Konjin can do something. Trash Adrian Sice, that's fine. He sees deeper though. Yeah, we goofed it. That could have been better. That's okay. We res the Maryland. We made some plays. What's funny too is like the Maryland now, the shuffle is like a bit. Okay. Fucking Morbius moving all over the place. This is so bad now that with Ag Infusion. So it like doesn't see cards with Conduit. Let's see the boop. Yeah, of course you're gonna get the boop. You're gonna get the boop. Mobius does. That's really funny. Yeah, I should have booped you. I should have. What is that card? It's like a Shaper card, but better. Get on Archives. Get out of there, you stupid Morbius. Okay. Yeah, it's Morbin time. Who did the art on this? Oh, that's a Liga art. That's like, you can tell because it has a Liga sort of like texturing to it, but it's like really subdued for Liga art. It's kind of surprising. I thought it would be an Adam Doyle. Adam Doyle does that sort of like minimalist cyberspace, but with the glow. The only the card wasn't misprinted or anything like that. Yeah, imagine running HQ twice. That'd be kind of cool, huh? Regular and empty remote is better than Maryland clicking for credits 1311. Yeah, but London, that was technology that wasn't invented in 2014. We had a what was the worst Regolith marked accounts? It was very bad. So he's going to see here 3 new cards. We just need to survive this one turn and we'll be okay. Regular Eagles Melange Mining. Yeah, and Melange Mining, for what it's worth, didn't show up in these decks. But obviously, Melange Mining, you didn't have the choice. No. You think you're not going to hit Conduit and not undo that? Do you even know my brand? RP occasionally around Melange? I don't remember it. Don't forget you have we can't use this. We need to use this to score on their remote server. Like using it on a Conduit, it just kicks the problem down the road. It doesn't actually do that much. Right? Like it doesn't stop the issue that they just run back next turn. It stops them from seeing 1 additional card. It's not a great use of the Nisei Mark token. Need to put Roughneck Repair Squad. Yo, Chinchling, how's it going? Yeah. Chat is Canadian politeness? What the heck are you doing? Hit the Conduit. Yeah, no, it is the Canadian politeness. This is broken for free. This is a problem, though. Funny enough, you can actually use the Nisei counter after they bake subroutines, but before they pass to deny the Cubone. That's next level. We're not going to do that because that's not good, but it's always worth remembering. People forget about that. And like the whole border control thing, lost the Spin Doctor. That's fine. As much as he's going to see 2 cards here. But yeah, that's very interesting is that you can always let them break and then you can respond to the paid ability window before they pass. So like the whole idea, they break all of envelopment besides the 1 subroutine, then you border control them. That's kind of cool. It's 1140. We're 2 points to 0. We're gonna be okay. Oh, second spin doctor. Oh, viral. I forgot we had that. We've won. Now he's gonna see 2 more cards. So here we can't do much because we're gonna be on 5 credits. Like we have to do. We could lose to this run. I'm still gonna risk it. But yeah, we overextended. We shouldn't have rezzed the Maryland. We should have just iced up Centrals and remember that like we lose to Conduit Cubon. That's on us. We might have punted the game. This is the way that like Arsana won a lot of games early in the season. And then people realize you don't do this. Because now we have to get the Brawn up and we have to purge. Oh, that's bad. He should know that there's a Bacterial in HQ. Trash and NGO front. He goes back, he sees a lot of cards. So we're 1 credit short. Because either we click for credits to get the Brawn or we purge. You don't do what? You don't go to where you can't res your ice and R&D, literally on any server, because then they just like Cubon through it, let alone with the Conduit and the Pichachon. So if we res the Brawn, he gets 1 run. And I think we basically have to click for credits to this turn and then purge the following turn. There's only 2 Bacterials, one's in hand. So winning on R&D is not super, super likely. This is also why you play my virus. Yeah, I think we just click 4 and we purge next turn. Click 3, sorry. We could get the Eli there. That might be better. Hold on. Hold on, actually. Thinking. I thought I was going to wave my hand. If we move Adrian over, it doesn't really change anything. Well, it kind of does. You can move Adrian R&D. Yeah, that's not the worst. We could have done that last turn as well. They still get the Conduit counter, but it's kind of worth it. The problem is if we lose Adrian, can we score on their mode server? Maybe. If you purge this turn, Maryland funds you. Yeah, but not enough. We were only at 5, and we need a res Brawn. But there's a chance that we want to put the Eli in there, which will put us from 7 to 5. No, that can't be it. Adrian R&D is really interesting, right? Because they run it. They have to play a Psy game. And then we want to throw the Psy game so that they only access the Adrian after clicking through the Brawn. I think it's correct. Ah, shit. I think we're going to do it. Because it might keep him out. But we also might lose the Adrian, which is a problem. Because like you still get Conduit counters, but if he doesn't get the access, that's the part we care about. Because I don't think he can run through a Brawn twice. Art like Mobius. I think FFG did marginally better with Meat Space Arts, just for the style better, but NSG is absolutely crushing with Cyberspace Art. They captured the horror of cyberspace perfectly. Yeah, I think NSG's been doing a really good job with cyberspace. I think for what it's worth, with cyberspace, you're allowed a lot more creativity and you're allowed a lot more style. Or when it comes to Meat Space Art, right? Like either you need a strong art style that is like, you know, and they've done a lot of really good Meat Space stuff that's striking art, but like then you're being judged on how things compare to real world, which is, you know, it's a harder thing, I think. It's the same sort of thing where like I get frustrated when there's like, you know, hundreds of video games that spend millions of dollars to make things look like the real world, when ultimately at the end of the day, is it not better when things have style to them? You know, Braun would make a sick playmat? Yeah, it would. It would. I think we egg infusion them into server 1. Right? Get out of my server. Go into this server. I'm egg. You can't pinhole me. You got double pinhole me. Braun's a great example of art that matches the faction color, but doesn't just fade away to nothing because of it. Usually this should be a huge no-no. Oh, that's true. In terms of like purple on purple, right? But it has a really nice silhouette. I'm not sure if the artist of this has done more. We'll continue the run. Help yourself. A lot of Wayland cards suffer from this. Wayland art, like Wayland Ice has this fun abstract style out of it. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, so Eigen Fusion puts you into the outermost, and so they can jack out. Because the outermost isn't rezzed, because it puts you in encounter, not approach, and you can only res ice on approach. He just accidentally hit continue. Now, if he runs last click, like Braun actually fires. Oh, sick. Okay, so we get a purge here. How many cards did he lock on top of R&D? I'm not sure I know. I'm not sure if he knows. Move Adrian. No. How many cards did you see on R&D? Are you practicing the note taking? Turbine's gonna come down. Eric was saying he's practicing note taking for the event he has on Sunday. I just need to know how many cards he's seen on R&D. He should know this is in hand. Us showing it means that he'll might go HQ, which is a problem because it's Tattoo Bola into Vampire Nasa, which he can break this for 0 if he really wants to. I sure should be. I did last night in person. Tonight I've had a whiskey and I'm making lots of mistakes. No, things are going all right. All right. We might be able to jam in their remote server. He's down to 0 credits. The environmental testing is going to be all his money. Now he has a coupon. He hasn't shown, like he has 9 cards left in the stack. Like he might be on only 2 copies of UAV, which I feel like he could use right now. He should know that we have the bacterial in hand, but he might have forgotten because again, that whiskey. So like, I don't know if I want to show him we have that. He might have forgotten. Do we really need more money? Do we celebrity get 4 cards? It's a lot worse when you celebrity get 4 cards. But the deck has no HQ. I'm going to go for it. If he hits it on a 1 in 5, he deserves it. He may have missed the first place. Yeah, we're going to... Genuinely, the order in which you should take... Like, we should show the bacteria as a 3rd card, assuming it's going to wrap. And it's ugly when you read the wrap. Just turn ago? No. Yeah, it's like 13 turns ago. So now we need to build a remote server. Tattoo Bola is the bounce target. So once he gets down his turbine, which is the next install for 6 credits, he'll be able to get through most of the ice super cheaply. That's where Braun's really good on 6 strength. So 6 strength gang, yeah, actually doing pretty good there. So we don't want to go to 4. I'll just click for, I think we want another ice here. I think just getting the Nazi on R&D. He might tunnel iron R&D. 1 and 4 here is Tattoo Bola. Oh, I don't love 1 and 4, but Tattoo Bola, Vampire Nasa. We'll try it. Move Adrian. Yeah. HQ. Adrian's such a cool card. Genuinely such a cool card. He might have another pinhole. I don't know if we're at the point where we're counting influence. I guess we could. So 2, 4, 5, 6. Mobius 7 could have been a pinhole. 8. 9, 10. Bioband's out. 11, 12. Probably 3rd Bioband's 13. Might be another pinhole. Or just another Gachapon. Yeah, this is a problem. It's okay. It's a Tattoo Bola. We will res it, cost him 1. And we can do a swap. We could have kept it thrown archives. That actually might have been fine here. But I don't want to just have a Vampire Nasa. Here, he can't really deal with the Vampire Nasa that well. We can draw off of it safe. I missed that you mentioned Mobius because Arisan is actually running it here. Wild. Yeah. Yeah, he played Mobius on you know, you're playing Conduit. It kind of makes sense. We talked about Mobius last week. It's not a very good card. It's Hush. Oh, shit. What about Lindsay? Deck size matters? Deck size doesn't matter. I'd rather have a Nanzi than Lindsay. The Lindsay subroutines, we don't care about net damage. We don't really care about their deck. It's a bit better than maybe it looks, but we're just going to overinstall this Hush. It's fine. Yeah, it's all good. I was really way worried that he'd get down to the turbine here. He might have it in hand, but he can't really afford it. Action? I should have asked action before we resed. Because if he does install something on it, okay, I might now send him into archives. Is this gaining information? Are we scummy? We found 2 more influence. Runner's acting. You only have 1 credit. Any Bankroll's neat. All right, so now we don't want to throw him in archives. So we'll res a Tattoo Bola. Arsana now can't afford the Hush. How can he afford the Hush? Oh, Hush is 1. I thought Hush was 2. That's pretty good. So we have a 1 and 4 and losing here. Swap Bola, we can't. Illegal. We'll draw for sure with the Vampire Nasa. It speeds up the Conduit. If he breaks all of this, but it makes it like I'll take a 1 and 4. And then still the Adrian Sice on top of it. Like this is still a hard run. This feels like setting this does feel like future perfect, right? Like it's the 1 and 4 and then the 1 and 3 first on Adrian. Paid 5. Wow, that's expensive. So now we can just pay 2. He gets a bankroll, which is cool. Successful run. If we pay 2 and he pays 2, he can't even trash Adrian. Wait, I forgot. I don't even know what the text on Adrian is. Pays 0? So he can only trash Adrian. Oh, we did the wrong. Okay, well, Adrian's going down. Bummer. We're going to shuffle now with Maryland, really importantly. So if he does Conduit, he'll see new cards. Yeah, we haven't rested an Anansi yet in any game, I don't think. But like the subroutines on the R&D on this are pretty good. We're going to have money issues. We're going to have 15. This is a sick Urson. Yeah, it's cool. It's neat. I don't know about the Mobius. I guess Mobius bankroll makes some sense. Oh, sick. Wait, there's no way you can afford this. Some parts of the bumper now are going to fire. But he's going for the 1 and 4. He knows it's there. You don't have to break all of this. Oh, he's undoing it. Okay. So I don't think we jam. I think we jammed the Maryland and hope he thinks it's the bacterial, and then we just fix this Tattoo Bola Hush. Because like he needs to get down his turbine. This will shuffle, so R&D is now all messed up. Oh, hedge fund. We haven't played a hedge fund, I don't think, in a long time. So we need to not overextend. So I think we'll get rid of this. We could do double bumper now so he could go send through it. Turbine Eli's 1. For now it's 3 though, which is pretty okay. I think we're okay trashing the Tattoo Bola here. We're not going to get a Spin Doctor for a while, so we have no recursion. Besides one last Spin Doctor in R&D. R&D shuffled. I think we just need to keep our money up. I think we draw once. That's a neat card. This does stack well. I don't think we'll install the Maryland or the hedge fund. I think we just click for credit here. I'd rather have the HQ padding. He's clearly trying to like get into HQ. We can consider playing hedge fund. How much can we res here? 8 plus 6, 14. Yeah, we will play hedge fund. 1 and 4 versus 1 and 5 is not that big of a difference. But having more money will matter on this turn because we might have to res 7, 8, 6. That's a lot of money on ice we haven't res so far. In terms of simulchip check, we're looking at 2 out. It's alphabetical. Okay. So there's one more simulchip probably somewhere, which means without the simulchip, his hush is gone. His turbine is still somewhere in the deck. He has 1 SMC. The clot doesn't matter. It's weird. It's like maybe playing the 2-1 agendas would make sense for this deck. Like just rebuilding board state slowly, as not 2014 as that is. There used to be a Jiteki 2-1 for a long time. No one played it. His money's bottomed out. He needs his telework. Also in terms of like money, this is the last telework. Or sorry, there might be one more. No UAV. Again, the Cubon is stranded, but if he can run archives to install like an Ika, I guess, and just like cycle, get bankroll credits, it's a good reason to make running. Now he knows it's a 1 and 4 on HQ. R&D's totally shuffled out. Breaking. Nancy 6 credits. Braun is even worse. Should have gone to bed. 2 absorbing the game deck success. Yeah, we're almost there. Arguably, I should have gone to bed too. How did decks like RP work with the tournament time limits? They didn't often go to time that bad. I don't remember. Like sometimes they went to time. I know the game that we like just quoted, it went to time, but somebody won when time was called. Blue servers and prepaid Kate. Yeah, those could be long. I guess the decisions were usually straightforward. Yeah, they were relatively straightforward. It was like the turns were long, but like that's the same thing as like Sokka won Worlds with a very equally slow deck, if not slower. And that's because he plays it quickly, because the turns themselves, obviously with enough practice and enough skill, are faster. As much as Energy says they want faster, I've seen games go to time more often lately than back in FOG days. That might be faulty memory. I think that's because rounds are tighter and there's a lot more newer players. But the decisions are more interesting. So sometimes that slows people down. Can we wait another turn? I don't think our ice server is enough unless we have Ossel. I think we need an Adrian. I think we hold. Like this is going to be their turbine next turn. So we have to outlast them. Much fewer starter turn triggers. Your starter turn triggers will be take daily start the turn. That's true, Cat. Yeah. It's like doing the start of turn triggers for one single Hoshigo deck is kind of wild. Oh, I love this. Action. This is where the turbine comes down, and then at least we still have some pretty good ice into turbine. Like Anansi's fine, Braun is fine, M.I.C is fine. If we res the Tattoo Bola, it's not going to get hushed, right? Because I don't think he's playing too hush, because we would have seen the influence. So we can res the Tattoo Bola here and swap it with an Eli. Worst comes to worst. We could also just throw. Wait. We could just throw him into the ocean. Yeah, that might have been wrong. I think throwing him into the ocean is reasonable. We want some money. Have you had a chance to run as a front company? Yeah, we did once. It was awful. We did another game. It was really bad because they gave them a server to farm out Makua, but they didn't. But it's been exceptionally bad because like we're not very good at making it about the remote server. Yeah, if we threw them to archives, they would still just pull the Tattoo Bola. But okay, so now Thimble Rig at least is more fun. But losing our Mana Garm here is going to be bad. He has 2 clicks left. We can't fire the M.I.C. Yeah, if he destroys our defensive upgrades, we have to rebuild, and we only have 1 Spin Doctor for that. Again, back in the day, Spin Doctor shuffled back 3 cards. We could probably use a bit of recursion. Maybe we should put like a bird barbecue or something. Or genotyping, is that still legal? We need him to overextend and not be able to trash the Mana Garm. Which actually, yeah, he probably shouldn't be able to trash the Mana Garm here. Notice how I didn't pre-res our Sundew. We didn't, for fun, throw 2 credits into the garbage. I'm also convinced he's not playing Urban Art Finissage. If he clicks through Mana Garm, you can M.I.C it. Yeah, we don't want to trade our M.I.C to protect the Maryland and the Mana Garm, because if we trade our M.I.C, we don't have a scoring remote. So it's right, we can, it's just like, we shouldn't. We'd rather just lose these 2 upgrades and still have a good remote server. M.I.C has to happen before Mana Garm? Oh, for sure. I don't mean in terms of timing, but if we think he can get through, like, we shouldn't do it here. So at least here we res the M.I.C, and now he's 1 credit short of trashing the Mana Garm. So if he double clicks through this to try and deal with a Rashida or an agenda, it's so bad for him because he trashes none of them. You got the clicks. Got to goad him a bit here. Yeah, once Mana Garm fires, there's no windows. Yeah, sorry if I missed that. If he clicks through Mana Garm, you can M.I.C. Oh, okay, yeah. No, you can't respond to it. I thought you meant like if he is going to have the clicks to the Mana Garm, then we can M.I.C it. Yeah. I'm not. I'd already have to pop it. All right, got him. So he can't trash any of these. He's 1 credit short. So we made him spend a lot of money. Now he does a turbine. Luckily, Braun is relatively thick. We probably should have trashed the Kruna, honestly. Why didn't we trash the Kruna when we installed the Braun and Unsi? This cost him nothing. Yeah. Why did we not do that a long time ago? So now the Eli is like a 1 credit tax, which is kind of relevant considering, oh my God. Oh, I forgot we had these. Holy shit. Oh, he has too little money that if we push for it, he definitely ignores it. But like, we can make this look so good. Oh, we're doing it. We're definitely doing it. I forgot we had one of these. It's so nice when you don't draw and these show up so slowly. Oh, if we double advance, you'd think it's the back pro. Push the bacterial. It might have been right here. But like, this server kind of stinks. We need another ice. Ah, it's hard. We need him to overextend on another central, but here he has nothing besides telework. Yeah, that might have been the window. I think you're right. I think we're going to regret that. And scoring a bacterial is actually kind of sick. Like, I forget it does something when you score it. Especially with a Nisei, yeah. With the Nisei, it's good. Sorry, the null signal. It's a bad joke. I've never done it before. I won't do it again. Ah, we had a window. Now we don't have a window. That's okay. Res score. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Turn 18. Not that bad. Not that bad. Genuinely, this is a savior of a spin. It can return the other spins. We need to get an Adrian in here. I don't know if he has a pinhole. I think we can count all influence, right? So influence count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He has one more, maybe a pinhole. Oh no, cleaver eye. So I miscounted. That is 15. So no more pinhole. Running HQ, he knows that the back pro is in there. It could be in the remote server. Is big deal 2014 technology? Yeah, we could have scored the back pro there. I think we should have realized his economy was like creative commission there. Because in terms of like money left in the deck, some of the decks are not playing the full 3 telework, but otherwise he has all creatives gone. Deck is running 3 sure gambles, no dirty laundries. Oh, this is bad for us. We'll res the spin doctor at a minimum, but double Vampire Nasa is like 4 credits a pop, and you can't take net damage infinitely with only 5 cards in hand. I wonder if he has a deep dive in hand as well. This is a really good card into Turbine. Yeah, as long as they're not on Buzzsaw. Still has to boost too. There's no way. He still has to boost. Oh, it's 5 credits? Oh, that's good. That's rich. Matt, there's something big heading your way. Matt, are you hearing me? Matt? Oh no. Indicates fireall. Okay. Yeah, yeah, holding. Okay, cool, cool. Firing broken. We will draw 2 here. We lost Slap Bundle Peach Champ. I'll draw 2. Nice. I'll take a 1 and 5. The Moth series of FTs are fun? I don't know what that means. This is where like Fuji technically still doesn't win. Fireall, love it. I'll take a 1 and 5 here. Thank God, front company saving us. You can't trash that. Nice. 1 card in hand. Is he scared of Anemone? Which we're not playing. But is he scared? Is he scared of fetal AI? I don't know what the last card is. I don't think he's on UAV, which is like super interesting. So we've seen 3 of Simulchip. It might be an overclock. I think a 3rd overclock would make sense. We have to play around that. But 3 gamble, 2 telework. We might. I don't know if he's host. Maybe click for credits. Like you can do it. It's just you have to be able to defeat the defensive upgrades. No, it is an overclock. Oh, he's going for it. Flavor Tex and Vampy and Jaguarundi are both moth losing control with runners. Wait, actually? I had no idea. What's the strength of Echelon? 3. So he can go through this, but he can't go further. Oh, wait, no, he has overclock. He has 8 credits here. Do we just send him into Vampire Nasa? We should have done with the Anansi. I'm one of them? Wait, for real. So we can send him into the Vampire Nasa. Then he has to break it. Oh, Brennan and Matt. Oh no. Oh, sick. I think the Brawn's really good though. Like if he hits the Brawn, how does he break? It's 2, 3, 4. I gotta read the Jag one. I think we should have kept the Brawn, not the Nancy. Okay. We'll Jaguarundi him to HQ. But he has 5 credits. So he has to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think there's a chance that this costs us the game. We'll see. It was Flavor Tex that was lying in bed and got confused. Oh, that's so cool. You got some credits. Break all 4 subroutines. I don't think you have to break all 4, but now you have to jack out or you flatline. Yeah, you don't have to break. You can give us 2 credits. And now he's going to click to Credit Town. We can lose to click to Credit Town. Wait, how do we play out of this? So all he has is click for credits. You can probably push the bacterial. I honestly don't know if we can. Oh, because we throw him into the Nancy and the Vampire Nasa. Yeah, that's probably fine. But we need to res a Spin Doctor, which is going to be ugly. So I think we have to wait a turn, maybe. That's a better push. I think generally we do Nisei advance front company, maybe? No. Yeah, we just chain Niseis. Like, this is what you do back in the day. So we'll do spin spin. Authorization quoted on Kyros McIntyre, but then picked up and kept losing runners on SG APIs. I have not put that together. That is absolutely fantastic. I guess we just do server one, advance. And we can put the, I don't think we're punished for putting the Maryland down. We can't celebrity gift because it's 2 clicks. Front company is like, whatever. So we'll hold this in hand. We'll get rid of the front company, I guess. Credit. You can't run last click because we just ag infusion. He's going for a single here. Yeah, that makes sense. He could win. There's one bacterial in there. Like, we need to make this better. So do you know what we do? We actually use the paid ability window. I think we wait for him to get pay 2 credits and then we Nisei him before he gets past the ice. So he doesn't get his respawn. We talked about that paid ability window being relevant and it actually was. Yeah, that payo was wild. Yeah, so we actually played around the Cubon. That's kind of sick. And then we just get another one. And we only probably need one more to close the game out. We'll get rid of Eli, which is breaking for 1. Yeah, I got some work to do. In lore and reality, I'm a terrible runner. Click for 4, makes sense. We have Maryland. On 4 credits, can we push in the remote server? We have to do install advance. He has to run through M.I.C. He has to pay for Managarm. He has to deal with the Nisei, and he has to deal with Ag Infusion. Let's just end it. Or lose. One or the other. It's always one of the two. Turn 20, 4-4. Tell me about it. Like, he runs R&D here, gets a single access, can win. Run R&D. You have to do it now or we Nisei you. You have to do it now. You have 1 run on R&D. You have enough money. Run R&D. I paid for my whole seat. I'm only using the edge. I know. This feels like old school. Undo click totally makes sense. Yes, let's go. We might Nisei. I think we do Nisei. We do the whole same paid ability window nonsense. This is a hell of a game. Yo, Wedgix, how's it going? I know. This is so cool. The damn 2014 Netrunner is still fun. Got a bed for this. Granted, I did because the flavor text had my name, but you know. Pay it. Nisei, Ag Infusion, M.I.C. all ends around. Yeah, and the Managarm. Like, we just use the counter here for sure. Use Echelon. Get null signal token. Sorry, I said I wouldn't do that again. Click. Oh, man. It was an Adrian on the top. What a game. That was pretty cool. We gained 94 credits. GG. Turn 22, like 2014 wanted. Thanks for the game, eh? That's a cool... Oh. Lights turned off. It got too dark. Too late, I mean. Oh, that's really cool. Good game, Eric. We were lucky that the turbine came down so later. We also got like hard punished. We could have lost on that one turn. Like that one turn, we bled 4 points really, really poorly. Yeah, so that's on us for that. Like you don't overextend into R&D. We should have respected that. We did a silly Res Maryland res. We were still short on credits, but yeah, what a game. I know. Look at the top 7. Bacterial programming, it was 3 down, unless that's the bottom for some reason. This is not alphabetical, yeah. That's cool. All right. Thanks for tuning in. That was really fun. I'm actually kind of genuinely like this deck. I probably need to play more of it before I take it out. I'm probably just gonna play it on Saturday, whatever. That seems like really good. Ouch. Yo, good game, man. You did not get down an early turbine, which I was scared about, but then I got lucky that the ice I had on the table. The R&D runs was real rough when you conduited. I misplayed that. Tech against Ag Infusion. What I'm going to do, John, is I'm going to say I'm playing this deck, and then I'm just going to play Punitive Ag Infusion at the last minute. You're not going to know. Thanks so much for hanging out. Again, we were totally inspired to do this by Sokka's deck dive recap, which is really quite good. Mind you, Sokka also listened to him on the Null Signal Station. This is really great. If you care about ice placement and hearing how Sokka thinks, check this out for sure. It's very good. Link in the description. But I'll be playing Punitive Ag. I expected you to, so no surprises there. That was surprisingly fun. I'd do that again. My top 20 cards were like 0 breakers besides a cleaver that had no business installing turn 1. I think I like the play on turn 1, Eric, because I showed you an agenda that was in hand from that agenda I scored, mind you, on turn 22 was in hand on turn 1. And I revealed it to you on turn 1 with Celebrity Gift. So I thought you were dropping cleaver and running HQ. just to be like, I don't care, I'm gonna go in, because if a Vampire Naso fires, I might steal 3 points, and stealing a back pro early can be kind of bad because it lets me set the game up. But I thought you had a line because I showed you 2 tattoo bolas. I misplayed into a couple turns you saw. Like, I didn't play that perfectly. I did misplay into Arasana. Anywho, thanks so much for watching. If you're watching this, maybe how was the Game Awards? If you're watching the bod, was it cool? Did Jeff Keighley, did he do it? I think that's it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll have a video up on Monday. We're editing that throughout. Again, maybe you're here on Saturday. We'll see you at the event. Shout out to Nick who's organizing. I'm pretty stoked for that. And otherwise, we'll be back Tuesday for a stream. Next week is the last week of streams until just about the new year. There might be one stream snuck in at the last on the 28th. Maybe, because I'm not sure when we're traveling back. But if I'm not mistaken, last week will be the last week. There might be a video or 2 over the holidays if I can pre-record some gameplay stuff. That would be for the best. I'm not sure yet, but I'm trying to do that for sure. Good luck on Saturday. We'll see you. Yeah, thank you. You too, Eric, on Sunday. Good luck with y'all. Hopefully you have a good time down there. Stealing back row turn 1 is a punitive disaster. Exactly, yeah. If you think it's punitive, it's definitely a disaster there, for sure. That's largely it. Take care, y'all. Hopefully you're doing well, and we'll see you in a bit.